Chapter 1813. The Lord Theological Seminary was founded by several powerful god emperors. Since ancient times, it had controlled a special ancient road. Many experts in the celestial realm and the surrounding large worlds knew about this, and they were full of anticipation for that road. It was extraordinary inside. Let's go to the Lord Theological Seminary first. Lin Tiandao. Their cultivation was now very strong, and the weakest was at the immortal king realm. At this time, they were all in the central continent, so it didn't take long for them to arrive at the Lord Theological Seminary. Inside the Lord Theological Seminary. Now, all the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary had gathered in the imperial courtyard. Many people's eyes were filled with bright light, because there were only 3 months before they could enter the ancient road controlled by the Lord Theological Seminary. It was full of all kinds of shocking immortal opportunities, and it was said that there was a road to the holy region. Everyone was looking forward to it. After all, that special ancient road was the real purpose of all the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary joining the Lord Theological Seminary. The legendary holy region is said to be a large world even more amazing than the celestial realm. I wonder if we can kill our way in. Such a large world is definitely far more suitable for cultivation than the celestial realm. Maybe there are amazing divine treasures everywhere. The white tiger's eyes lit up. Lin Tiandao didn't say anything. He also couldn't wait to enter that special ancient road. However, what he cared about most was the sword's soul fragment that existed in it. As for the so-called holy region, its importance was ranked after the sword's soul fragment. He, Ling Yun, and the others returned to their residence in the Lord Theological Seminary and silently made all kinds of preparations to enter that ancient road. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. On this day, just like 10 years ago, the sound of a bell rang in the Lord Theological Seminary. The higher-ups of the imperial courtyard personally issued a message, calling all the Lord Theological Seminary's disciples to make preparations. The ancient road controlled by the Lord Theological Seminary was about to open. The special ancient path was the goal of all the disciples of the imperial courtyard. Dong! The majestic sound of the bell reverberated in the Lord Theological Seminary for a total of 9 times. In the next moment, dozens of figures suddenly appeared at the front of the vast training field of the Lord Theological Seminary. They were led by 3 old men. One was a white-haired old man, one was a green-robed old man, and one was a black-robed old man. Among them, the white-haired old man was the old man who invited Lin Tianyi and the others to join the Lord Theological Seminary. His essence chi was awe-inspiring. It was not until this day that Lin Tian found out that the white-haired old man was the current vice dean of the Lord Theological Seminary. Together with the white-haired old man, the green-robed old man was the current dean of the Lord Theological Seminary, and the black-robed old man was also the vice dean. All 3 of them had an awe-inspiring cultivation. The other dozens of people behind the 3 of them were the law enforcement elders of the Lord Theological Seminary. They were all in the heavenly God realm. Let's cut to the chase. Good luck to all of you, the green-robed old man said in a very calm voice. As soon as he finished speaking, the white-haired old man, and the black-robed old man, the 2 vice deans of the imperial courtyard, made a special hand seal. After dozens of breaths, they worked together to open a light hole. It was like a black hole that could devour everything. This light hole was the entrance to the special ancient road. Only the dean and vice dean of the Lord Theological Seminary knew how to open it. Without the method to open it, even a peak divine emperor would not be able to open it. Buzz! The halos around the cave of light interweaved. An incomparably ancient aura surged out at the first moment, causing the eyes of the Emperor God Academy disciples on the martial arts practice field to reveal an even more resplendent light. They naturally guessed that this cave of light was the entrance to the ancient path. Immortal fate, divine domain. Whooshing Crocodile's eyes lit up. He stared at the light hole that the green-robed old man and the other 2 had worked together to open and clenched his claws. Lin Tian's eyes also lit up. After the light hole was the special ancient road, where the new sword soul fragment was. By Ziki, Fanning Xiong, an eye Yao Yao, and the other's eyes also lit up. Only little Taichu did not care. Divine domain! In the training field, the black-robed Cho Qianma's eyes lit up. He then tilted his head and looked at Lin Tian. He sneered, "Primordial Pagoda!" Not far away, another young man stood. He had long green hair and an extremely oppressive aura. He was Luo Huaye, the second on the 100 Immortals ranking. His eyes followed Cho Qianma's and also fell on Lin Tian. He narrowed his eyes slightly, giving off a sinister vibe. On the other side, Mo Byron's eyes were deep. His gaze fell on the light hole, and an astonishing divine aura naturally intertwined around his body. The surrounding disciples of the imperial courtyard could not help but tremble and retreat. Good fellow, he has already reached the half-step divine realm. Whooshing Crocodile also sensed the divine aura emitted by Mo Byron, and a look of shock appeared on his face. Even Lin Tian could not help but be moved. More than 10 years ago, Mo Byron was at the mid-stage true divinity realm. Now, more than 10 years later, he had already reached the half-step divine realm. This was indeed very shocking. Dong! At this time, another bell rang. It was very loud and clear. This was the 10th bell that rang in the imperial courtyard today. This bell was louder than any of the previous bell chimes. As the bell rang, the dean of the Lord Theological Seminary opened his mouth again. This time, he only said one word, "Let's go." In an instant, the eyes of the Lord Theological Seminary's disciples became brighter and brighter. Whoosh! 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 The sound of wind breaking echoed continuously. One by one, the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary moved and rushed into the light hole. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the Lord Theological Seminary's disciples rushed into the light hole and disappeared from the Lord Theological Seminary. "Let's go!" Lin Tiandao called out to Bai Ziki and the others. They flew into the air and also rushed into the light hole. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the edge of the light hole. It was also at this moment that a loud boom sounded out. A huge crack suddenly appeared in the sky above the Emperor Academy. Numerous figures walked out from within, all of them interweaving with shocking, chaotic light. All of their vital energies were oppressive, and all of them were extremely powerful. Such a scene immediately caused the expressions of Lin Tian and the others to change. The expressions of the imperial courtyard disciples who had not yet entered the light hole changed. Even someone as powerful as the dean and 2 vice deans of the Lord Theological Seminary couldn't help but change. Chaotic tribe, 2 dazzling divine lights shot out from the white-haired old man's eyes. They carried an undisguised chill. Light ceiling gate. The other vice dean of the imperial courtyard, who was dressed in a black robe, said in a deep voice. Clearly, like the white-haired old man, they knew where this group of figures intertwined with chaotic light came from. They also knew what their purpose was. Chapter 1814. Figures made of chaotic light appeared one after another. It was hard to count how many there were in a short period of time, and each of them had an imposing aura. The current dean of the Lord Theological Seminary and the 2 vice deans, the white-haired old man and the black-robed old man, made a move at the same time. They made a special hand seal, and immediately, the light hole that was pulled open trembled and gradually faded. After waiting for so long, we finally seized the opportunity. You can't close it. The holy domain belongs to my race. A cold voice sounded. A figure that was about 3 meters tall stepped out from the big crack in the sky. He was wearing black armor, and behind him was a holy grail. He directly interweaved with dense, ancient runes, enveloping the space around him. In an instant, the light hole above the Lord Theological Seminary trembled and no longer faded. The divine technique ancient seals that the dean and the 2 vice deans of the Lord Theological Seminary had activated completely lost their effect at this moment. Forbidden Holy Grail. The eyes of the Lord Theological Seminary's elder turned cold. Good eyesight, the expert in black armor said coldly. Then, he waved his hand. Boys, kill your way in. Kill, kill, kill. Roars rang out one after another as numerous figures charged out from the cracks in the sky and headed straight for the glowing hole. Moreover, some of them were unleashing their divine techniques, which were sharp and oppressive as they attacked the imperial courtyard disciples who were still outside the glowing hole. In the blink of an eye, screams sounded. Many of the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary, who had yet to enter the light hole, were killed on the spot. "You're courting death." The eyes of the dean and the two vice deans of the Lord Theological Seminary were cold. At this moment, they made a move. They killed a large number of figures wrapped in chaotic light with a palm strike, and bloody mist exploded. A cold snort sounded. In the sky, the figure in black armor swooped down and attacked the dean of the Lord Theological Seminary. At the same time, two other figures with auras that were not weaker than his appeared. They pressed down on the white-haired old man and the black-robed old man, the two vice deans of the Lord Theological Seminary. In an instant, the rumbling of divine power shook. The 6 experts fought together, and the space around them collapsed immediately. The whooshing crocodile and the white tiger were completely stunned. They never would have thought that such a thing would happen when the Lord Theological Seminary opened the entrance to the special ancient path. A group of powerhouses actually barged into the Lord Theological Seminary. Lin Tian was naturally shocked as well. He had never expected something like this to happen. At the same time, he was also surprised by the strength of the white-haired old man, the strength of the Lord Theological Seminary's dean, and the black-robed old man's assistant dean. At this moment, he could clearly sense the might of a god king from the 3 of them. These were 3 god kings. Clangs! The sound of swords clanging could be heard as a figure covered in chaotic light attacked. He brandished his chaotic sword and slashed at the little Taichu and the others. His eyes narrowed as he withdrew his gaze from the white-haired old man and the other 2. He brandished the heavenly sword scripture and shattered the sword gleams that filled the sky. "Let's go in," he said to Bai Ziki and the others. At this moment, the light hole that led to the special ancient path was still open. However, it might close and disappear soon. He had to enter it now and obtain the sword's soul fragment. "Let's go." The whooshing crocodile nodded. Immediately, the group performed their body movement divine skills and turned into streaks of light as they rushed into the light hole and disappeared in the blink of an eye. At the same time, a series of whooshing sounds could be heard as the figures entwined in the primal chaos light swiftly entered the light hole. "You guys are quite bold to open the holy region's ancient path. The ancient path that our ancestors of the imperial courtyard discovered is filled with countless divine formations. Aren't you guys afraid that you'll all be buried inside?" The dean of the Lord Theological Seminary, who was surrounded by the might of a god king, spoke coldly as he looked at the black-armored expert from the chaotic tribe. At the same time, he waved his hand and pressed down on the other party. The black-armored expert from the chaotic tribe sneered. "So what if those people imprinted countless divine formations inside? They're long gone. Now, who still remembers how to activate those divine formations? The people of the Lord Theological Seminary who enter will all be killed. You can't stop my people. In the end, the holy region will fall into my hands and be controlled by my people." As he spoke, terrifying chaotic light rushed out of his body. It was as if he had a chaotic body, and his aura was oppressive. At the same time, in another place, the white-haired elder and the black-robed elder were fighting against 2 other experts from the chaotic tribe. Their strength was on par, and their divine might was surging, shattering the space around them. The terrifying divine light flooded in all directions. Lin Tianyi and the others naturally couldn't see anything here. At this time, they stepped into the light hole, and all of them passed through the dark void. Then, after an unknown period of time, light appeared in front of them again. They fell out of the void and stepped on solid ground again. As far as the eye could see, there were towering celestial mountains in front of them. The immortal spiritual chi in the air was shockingly dense. In many places, the air was naturally intertwined with faint celestial light. However, other than these magnificent celestial mountains, there were also some places that were very dilapidated. The ground was scorched black. "This is that ancient road?" Whooshing crocodile stared and said, "No matter how I look at it, it doesn't look like a road. The ancient road is just a saying. Naturally, it can't be a simple road. You can think of it as a huge spatial road, a spatial road that contains endless magnificent scenery." Lin Tiandao. The white tiger rolled its eyes and said, "Okay, no matter if it's a simple ancient road or a special spatial road, it's still a road in the end. A road has a specific direction to travel. Which direction are we going now?" "Directly east." Lin Tiandao. "Why?" Whooshing crocodile asked. Lin Tian's so-called directly east was obviously the specific direction of the ancient road. It didn't know how Lin Tian determined it, because there's such information in the Imperial God's token. After entering this ancient road, keep going east. It's said that at the end, you can reach the sanctuary, and I Yao Yao said. Of course, the prerequisite is that you can open the door to the sanctuary. Whooshing crocodile immediately understood. So that's how it was. It didn't have the Imperial God's token, so it really didn't know about this. "Let's go." Lin Tiandao. Entering at this time, his first goal wasn't to reach the sanctuary, but to find the sword spirit fragment here. The group stepped forward and headed east. In the blink of an eye, they had crossed a long distance. Speaking of which, the white-haired old man called those people from the chaotic race. Whooshing crocodile said, "Is it related to the king of chaos? Those people can't be the king of chaos subordinates, right? A chaotic race and a king of chaos." It was hard not to think of the same thing. Lin Tian nodded. If nothing unexpected happens, it should be. At this time, they had already seen many figures in front of them. They were all the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary who had entered this ancient road at the beginning. Many people began to explore this ancient road, looking for a sect's immortal fate. It was also at this time that there were whooshing sounds in the air. Behind them, figures surrounded by the chaotic light appeared. Kill! Chapter 1815. Chaotic light surged. More than 10,000 experts from the chaotic tribe appeared at this time, and their auras were very terrifying. Lin Tian was immediately shocked. None of the chaotic tribe cultivators were weak, and there were more than 10,000 of them attacking together. Even a mid-stage true god like him could not help but frown. Among them, he felt at least a few hundred divine realm auras, and they were not ordinary divine realm auras. At least 100 of them were at the peak of the divine realm. "Retreat!" He shouted in a low voice and asked by Ziki and the others to retreat quickly. With such a group of experts attacking, it was impossible for them to stop them with their strength. There were too many of them. Whoosh! 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 The sound of the air being torn apart was ear-piercing. The group immediately increased their speed to the maximum and rushed toward the east of the ancient road. In the blink of an eye, they had crossed tens of thousands of feet. At the same time, on the ancient road, the other disciples of the Emperor God Imperial Academy who had entered at the beginning were naturally shocked when they saw the chaotic tribe cultivators. Some people were puzzled. It was obvious that this group of chaotic tribe cultivators were not disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary, and they were not disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary, but they had entered the ancient road. What was going on? However, in the next moment, these people were shocked again because more than 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators directly waved their knives. Whenever they saw a disciple of the Lord Theological Seminary, they would mercilessly attack and kill. Poof! 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 These chaotic tribe cultivators were clearly carefully selected. All of them were experts, and they were much stronger than the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary. In the blink of an eye, streams of blood exploded, and the disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary were killed one after another. In an instant, the disciples of the Emperor God Imperial Academy understood that these chaotic tribe cultivators who had suddenly rushed in were their enemies. Boom! Some people started to fight back. Divine light shot up into the sky and attacked the cultivators of the chaotic tribe. However, the 10,000 cultivators from the primal chaos tribe were too strong. Each of them possessed astonishing battle prowess, and there were so many of them, and they were very united. Basically, it was 5 primal chaos tribe cultivators against a single disciple of the Lord Theological Seminary. Ordinary disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary couldn't stop them at all. In the blink of an eye, many disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary were killed, and the Imperial Courtyard disciples were terrified. Damn it! What was going on? Where did they come from? The surviving disciples of the Imperial Courtyard were enraged. They no longer fought head-on and fled in different directions. Kill them all? After that, we will go to the end of the ancient road and seize the Saint region. One of the generals of the chaotic tribe said coldly. Yes. One by one, the chaotic tribe cultivators shouted and chased after the fleeing disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary. Waves of divine power rippled out from every corner of the ancient road. It was very oppressive. Lin Tian, Bai Ziki, Ling Yun, and the others had already stepped far away from the 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators. However, they could still feel the surging waves of divine power behind them. Obviously, they knew that the 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators were chasing after the other disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary who had entered the ancient road. This is troublesome. Lord Crocodile wanted to search for treasures and immortal opportunities. Why did this group of bastards jump out? Whooshing Crocodile gritted his teeth. The overall battle prowess of the 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators was too strong. The weakest one was at the peak of the Immortal King realm, and there were very few of them. Most of them were at the True God realm, and there were at least a few hundred heavenly gods. Lin Tian frowned as well. The intrusion of such a group of chaotic tribe cultivators would indeed cause some interference in their work. After all, the chaotic tribe cultivators were really strong, and their overall battle prowess was terrifying. Speaking of which, what kind of tribe is this chaotic tribe? Ling Yin asked. I don't know. Lin Tian shook his head. He had only heard the 3 words chaotic tribe today, and he didn't know anything about it. However, he could feel that this tribe was very strong. After all, he could be sure that this chaotic tribe was definitely related to the King of Chaos, and a tribe with a peak emperor god overseeing it naturally couldn't be weak. What should we do now? White Tiger asked. When they entered this ancient road, they originally wanted to search for various immortal opportunities and immortal treasures in various places, and finally try to open the door to the holy region. However, now that more than 10,000 powerful cultivators of the chaotic tribe had entered, it was obvious that they wanted to wipe out everyone on this ancient road except for the chaotic tribe. They also wanted to snatch the holy region. Moreover, their battle prowess was very strong, and it really caused some trouble for them for a while. Lin Tian thought for a while and said, now that they have gathered together, we can't stop them. Let's ignore them for the time being, and follow the previous plan to search for what we want. If we encounter a few chaotic tribe cultivators who are alone, kill them directly. He was now at the middle stage of the True God realm. As long as he didn't encounter anyone above the middle stage of the Heavenly God realm, he didn't have to be afraid of anything. Since you said so, let's do it, White Tiger said. Lin Tian was obviously the backbone of their group. Lin Tian nodded and beckoned the group to continue to the depths of this ancient road. At the same time, he spread out his powerful divine thought to search around for traces of the sword's soul fragments, and at the same time, to guard against the powerful cultivators of the chaotic tribe who had entered. Soon, the group strode far away and walked along the east direction, crossing more than 10 mountains. It was also at this time that Lin Tianling snorted, swung his hand, and slashed forward with his sword. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing. As he slashed out with his sword, the surrounding space immediately collapsed, and the void in front of him was shattered. In the next moment, 2 whooshing sounds were heard, and a figure rushed out from the void that was shattered by him. Your divine sense is not bad. This person had a cold smile on his face, and there was a kind of arrogance in his eyes. It was Cho Chinma, who was ranked in the top 10 of the 100 Immortals ranking. He had the 5 elements imperial body. Bastard Cho, was the lesson from more than 10 years ago not enough? How dare you come in front of us? Whooshing Crocodile stared at Cho Chinma and said sarcastically. Cho Chinma glanced coldly at Whooshing Crocodile with a kind of ruthlessness, and then his gaze fell on Lin Tian. "The primordial pagoda is mine," he said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, a bronze cauldron the size of a fist appeared in his hand and directly shook open the mouth of the cauldron. A black shadow rushed out from it, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a giant creature that was dozens of feet tall. Roar! It was a blood-winged ape with a pair of blood-red wings, and its demonic aura was powerful and oppressive. As its demonic aura surged out, the surrounding void was directly distorted and shattered. For a moment, Baiziki and the others could not help but be moved. It's comparable to an early-stage heavenly god. The white tiger frowned. At the same time, Ling Yun, White Tiger, Yang Qi, Fanning Xiong, Baiziki, and the others could not help but frown slightly. They were now only immortal kings, and a heavenly god realm beast was very oppressive to them. Chapter 1816. The power of the early heavenly god blood-winged ape was terrifying. However, Lin Tian was not bothered by it. To him, only those who were at the middle heavenly god realm and above could make him wary. Am I going to die today? You really don't understand the situation. Qiu Qianma's eyes were threatening and filled with madness. He sneered and said, "Kill him." As soon as he finished speaking, the blood-winged ape let out a roar that shook the void. It flapped its wings and charged towards Lin Tian. However, at this moment, there was a sound of something breaking through the air. Lin Tian moved as well. He took a step forward and appeared in front of the blood-winged ape in the next moment. Dong! Without any superfluous movements, he threw out a punch. His pure physical strength caused the void to rumble, as if a thunderbolt had exploded. In the next moment, his fist landed on the blood-winged ape's body and sent it flying. Its huge demonic body was smashed into pieces in the distance. Seeing this, Baiziki, Ling Yun, Fanning Xiong, and the others were shocked. The blood-winged ape was comparable to an early heavenly god realm ferocious beast. However, it was smashed into pieces by Lin Tian's fist. What kind of fist strength was that? Qiu Qianma was also shocked. In order to seize Lin Tian's primordial pagoda, he had specially asked an elder in the clan to suppress a heavenly god realm ferocious beast. He thought that he could easily suppress and kill Lin Tian and seize the primordial pagoda. However, he did not expect that the heavenly god realm ferocious beast that he had released would be smashed into pieces by Lin Tian in just one exchange. Moreover, he could faintly sense that Lin Tian's cultivation base had already reached the mid-true god realm. Initially, he thought that after 10 years, Lin Tian would at most be at the early true god realm. Who would have thought that Lin Tian would be stronger than him by a small step? Lin Tian was even stronger than him now. He was only at the early true god realm. Roars! In the distance, the blood-winged ape roared. It had reached the heavenly god realm. After its demonic body was smashed into pieces, it reformed. As its demonic body reformed, there was a rumbling sound. Demonic blood light intertwined from its body and turned into balls of blood light. It rumbled and shook the surrounding space. Its power was obviously much stronger than before. Qiu Qianma's eyes became cold again. In the end, it's just your physique. Facing the demon blood-winged ape's demonic chi level, demonic blood, demonic beast. He ordered the blood's ape, kill. After the blood-winged ape had been suppressed by the clan's elders, he had engraved the mother-child curse technique on it. Now, it was completely unable to go against him. Roar! With another roar, the blood-winged ape flapped its wings and charged towards Lin Tian again. This time, the demonic blood light outside its body was extremely terrifying. It corroded the air with a sizzling sound. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Tian's expression did not change. He immediately held up the reincarnation portrait. At the same time, the nameless Dao Law, Thunder Divine Dao, and Nature Divine Dao were activated together. In the blink of an eye, they merged with the reincarnation portrait and turned into his most powerful divine Dao reincarnation portrait. An incomparably majestic aura immediately spread out. It was his most powerful attack. He stepped forward with the divine Dao reincarnation portrait in his hand. He directly covered the blood-winged ape that was charging toward him and mercilessly crushed it. Puff! Blood splattered. The blood-winged ape was instantly smashed into pieces by the divine Tao reincarnation portrait. Moreover, its demonic soul was also destroyed in an instant. He killed a heavenly god realm ferocious beast with one blow. Is it that exaggerated? Whooshing Crocodile's eyes widened. By Ziki, Fanning Xiong, and the rest were also shocked. Even though they knew that Lin Tian had already unleashed his strongest battle strength and was extremely powerful, they still couldn't help but be shocked when they saw the blood-winged ape being annihilated just like that. After all, that was a heavenly god realm ferocious beast. Although it was only in the early heavenly god realm, it was still a heavenly god. This guy can already kill an early heavenly god? The white tiger's eyes widened. However, after a pause, he regained his composure and said, "Actually, this is considered normal. After all, Mo Byron was able to kill an early heavenly god realm ferocious beast when he was in the middle stage of the true god realm. With Lin Tian's strength, it is impossible for him not to be able to do the same when he is in the same realm." "Oh, that makes sense." Whooshing Crocodile nodded. Lin Tian was the strongest reincarnation body. Moreover, he had experienced more than 10 heavenly tribulations. He had used the heavenly tribulations several times to forcefully refine his body. With such strength, it was impossible for him to be weaker than Mo Byron in the same realm. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. A black shadow rushed into the distance. Qiu Qimo retreated far away. At this moment, he chose to escape. Lin Tian's combat strength was beyond his expectations. Initially, he thought that with his heavenly god realm ferocious beast, he could definitely suppress Lin Tian. However, he did not expect this heavenly god realm blood-winged ape to be killed by Lin Tian right in front of his eyes. Since Lin Tian could even kill this heavenly god realm blood-winged ape, he naturally did not think that he could stop Lin Tian now. This bastard looked so arrogant when he first appeared. I didn't expect him to run away so quickly. The white tiger laughed sarcastically. Lin Tian's expression did not change. He looked at the fleeing Qiu Qima and took a step forward to stop him. "As I said, today, you must die," he said calmly. As he spoke, he directly attacked and slapped Qiu Qima. Qiu Qima raised his divine power light shield to block the attack. However, it was instantly smashed apart. Lin Tian's slap landed directly on Qiu Qima's cheek and smashed half of his face. "Damn it!" He let out an angry roar. Divine light intertwined around his body. The indestructible godly scripture surged, and in the blink of an eye, he reformed his physical body. However, he had just reformed his physical body when Lin Tian's second slap arrived. In the blink of an eye, it landed on his cheek again and smashed half of his face. Buzz! Dazzling light surged. The indestructible godly scripture was very shocking. In the blink of an eye, it allowed him to reform his physical body again. It was also at this moment that Lin Tian's third slap landed. With a loud thud, half of his face was smashed again. Teeth mixed with blood and minced meat scattered in the void. Lin Tian! His divine soul roared. He could tell that Lin Tian was humiliating him. "There's no need to shout so loudly. I'm right here." Lin Tian was very calm. Once again, he stretched out his large hand to abstract his opponent. He also raised the divine path reincarnation diagram. "I'll send you on your way." His slap landed. This time, it smashed Qiu Qima into pieces. Then, the divine path reincarnation diagram pressed down and enveloped Qiu Qima's flesh and bones, as well as his divine soul. Divine, and domineering auras surged. In the blink of an eye, they intertwined in this space, causing Qiu Qima's divine soul to tremble violently. He immediately felt the threat of destruction and couldn't help but cry out, "Stop! Everything can be discussed." His physical body was smashed, and the divine path reincarnation diagram pressed down. The powerful might suppress everything. causing him to be unable to even open the king's territory and the strange phenomenon in his sea of consciousness. There's nothing to discuss. Lin Tiandao. Chapter 18:17. As the blood mist floated in the air, Ziki and the rest were stunned. The early heavenly god blood-winged ape and the early true god five elements sovereign body Chima were killed by Lin Tian in such a short period of time. Such battle strength and means were simply shocking. This is really the white tiger stared. This is too shocking. Even Ni Yao Yao could not help but say. Lin Tian's battle strength was indeed shocking. Lin Tian descended from the void and adjusted his body armor. His aura was much weaker at this time. The process of killing the heavenly god blood-winged ape and the five elements sovereign body Chima seemed fast and easy. However, it was not so. In such a short period of time, he had used up about 80% of his divine power. Let's go. He called out to Ziki and the rest and continued to head east. He recovered his divine power as he walked. In the blink of an eye, the group of them had traveled a long distance in the east. Gradually, a strong fragrance floated in the air. Not far ahead, there were dozens of precious trees surrounded by immortal light. They were all about 10 feet tall, and each tree had a red fruit. Blood god fruit? Whooshing crocodiles' eyes lit up. There are so many of them. Lin Tian naturally recognized these fruits. They were extraordinary treasures of heaven and earth. For any cultivator below the half-step true god realm, they were rare treasures. They were of great value and significance. Immediately, he waved his hand and plucked all the blood god fruits from the dozens of precious trees. He distributed them to Ziki, Yangqi, Fanning Xiong, Ling Yun, Whooshing Crocodile, and the White Tiger. As for him, Little Taichu, and Ni Yao Yao, they did not need the blood god fruit. The three of them were already in the true god realm. They did not need the blood god fruit. This ancient road is really full of immortal opportunities. I can't believe we can find such immortal treasures in such a random place. No wonder those young talents broke their heads to enter the Lord Theological Seminary and enter this ancient road. The White Tiger was a little excited. Whooshing Crocodile and Ling Yun were also excited. Ziki, Yangqi, and the others couldn't help but have their eyes light up. Apart from Lin Tian, Ni Yao Yao, and Little Taichu, these blood celestial fruits would definitely allow them to raise their cultivation by at least a small level in a short period of time. Let's find a secluded place and refine all of these blood immortal fruits to increase your cultivation. Lin Tian said. Now, more than 10,000 experts from the chaotic tribe had entered this ancient road. Each of them was an expert and would kill anyone who did not belong to the chaotic tribe. They needed to increase their cultivation as soon as possible. Now that they had found these blood immortal fruits, it was naturally best to let Ziki and the others refine them first. There were many desolate mountains nearby. He spread out his powerful divine thought and found an inconspicuous desolate mountain. He found a secluded place and engraved several ceiling formations. Then he and Little Taichu and Ni Yao Yao guarded Ziki and the others. Ziki and the others immediately began to refine the blood immortal fruits. For a time, several different kinds of radiance intertwined in this place. In the blink of an eye, about half a month had passed. Boom, boom, boom. After half a month, the group broke through one after another and reached the peak of the Immortal King realm. Even Fanning Xiong was no exception. In the following month, the group of people stabilized their cultivation here before stopping to cultivate. Awesome! Whooshing Crocodile couldn't help but howl, just like when he broke through before. White Tiger and Ling Yun's eyes were shining. They were naturally very excited. Ziki, Yangqi, and Fanning Xiong were quietly comprehending their current battle strength. Faint light surrounded their bodies. All in all, the group's essence, energy, and spirit were now very strong. All right, let's go. Lin Tiandao. Ziki and the others had finished refining the blood immortal fruits. At this time, they were going to continue to the depths of the ancient road. He and the group walked out of the desolate mountain. His true, God-divine thoughts spread out in all directions, looking for the sword's soul fragments. His main purpose for coming to this ancient road was to find the sword's soul fragments that were scattered on this ancient road. Before coming in, I should have asked Senior Gu about the exact location of the sword's soul fragments. Then, he couldn't help but mutter to himself, I wonder how the battle outside is going between that senior and the godly kings of the chaotic tribe. The Senior Gu he was talking about was naturally the white-haired elder who had invited him to the Emperor God College. His name was Gu Qing. Previously, when they had entered the ancient road, Gu Qing, the dean of the Imperial College, and another vice-dean were fighting against the three supreme experts of the Primal Chaos tribe. Those three people also emitted the godly king pressure, and all of them were godly kings. As he thought of this, he immediately shook his head. There was no point in thinking about this right now. It was useless. Let's go. He called out to Baiziki and the others, and they continued to go deeper into the ancient road. Boom! At this moment, there was a shocking fluctuation of divine power in the distance behind them. A dozen figures stepped forward, all of them surrounded by chaotic light. They were the experts of the chaotic tribe who had entered this ancient road. As soon as they appeared, their eyes fell on Lin Tianyi and the others. They rushed forward together. Weak humans, kill them all, the leading cultivator of the chaotic tribe said coldly. In the blink of an eye, a dozen people stepped forward. 5 of them were peak-stage immortal kings, and 7 were early-stage true gods. Lin Tian stopped and turned to look. He couldn't help but narrow his eyes. A dozen people dared to look for trouble. Buzz! The silver divine light appeared. He didn't move, but the silver divine picture of 4 symbols rushed out from behind him. As soon as it appeared, it began to expand. In the blink of an eye, it became about 10 feet in diameter, covering all the 12 experts of the chaotic tribe. The 12 experts of the chaotic tribe trembled as though they had been immobilized. Instantly, they were unable to move. All of them were imprisoned in the void. The divine power in their bodies seemed to have solidified, and they were unable to circulate it. The dozen people looked at Lin Tian, who took out the divine picture of 4 symbols, and all of them changed their expressions. They had already killed many disciples of the imperial courtyard when they entered this ancient road, and it was no big deal. At this time, when they found Lin Tianyi and the others, they directly rushed over and wanted to kill them all. They thought that they could kill Lin Tianyi and the others in an instant, but they didn't expect that the result would be like this. They were all suppressed by Lin Tian in an instant. Let us go. Otherwise, you will suffer a fate worse than death. One of the true gods looked at Lin Tian and said coldly. He didn't have the consciousness of a prisoner at all. Lin Tian was too lazy to say anything. He flicked his finger, and a golden light flew out, shattering him with a puff. His physical body and divine soul were destroyed together. Chapter 18:18. The dozens of people from the chaotic race were not weak. However, the strongest among them was only an early-stage true god. When they saw Lin Tian kill one of their true gods with a flick of his finger, they were all shocked. The 11 people who were still alive were unable to move. At this moment, they looked at Lin Tian with fear in their eyes. Killing a true god with a single finger, such fighting power was much stronger than theirs. There was a qualitative difference between the two of them. Looking at their expressions, Lin Tian did not care at all. He did not say anything. He extended his powerful divine will and entered one of the true God's sea of consciousness to search for information about the chaotic tribe. In the blink of an eye, dozens of breaths passed. He withdrew his divine will from the true God's sea of consciousness. Then, with a flick of his finger, 11 golden rays flew out and penetrated the foreheads of the 11 true gods, wiping out their divine souls. At the same time, the bodies of the 5 immortal king realm chaotic tribe cultivators were shattered. The bodies of the 6 true gods were preserved. He divided the 6 flesh shells among Baiziki, Fanning Xiong, Yangqi, Lingyun, Wuxing Crocodile, and White Tiger. The 6 of them used the Saint Refining Treasure technique to refine the 6 flesh shells. they would definitely be able to step into the half-step true God realm in a short time. Find a place to refine them, Whooshing Crocodile said excitedly. Lin Tian nodded. He found a barren mountain nearby and protected the group as they used the Saint refining treasure technique to refine the flesh shells. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. In a month's time, after Ziki and the others used the Saint refining treasure technique to refine the 6 true God fleshly shells, their cultivation rose by a large margin. All of them reached the half-step true God realm, and their essence, energy, spirit, and other aspects improved greatly. It's time to start comprehending the divine Tao, White Tiger said. Normally, after reaching the half-step true God realm, one would need to comprehend the divine Tao before one could make a breakthrough. Ordinary treasures of heaven and earth were of no use, unless one could find the divine Tao treasure crystal, a divine crystal condensed from the pure divine Tao aura between heaven and earth. Only then could one directly reach the true God realm from the half-step true God realm after refining it. Lin Tian had used the destructive power of Yi Yinshang, Yuan Yunfu, and Lan Tianjin to forge his body, forcibly elevating his thunder immortal Tao and nature immortal Tao to the divine Tao at the same time. This was a very special situation. Take your time to comprehend. Let's go. Lin Tian Tao. After Ziki and the others finished refining the flesh shells of the true gods, they returned to the depths of the ancient road. Following the eastern direction of the ancient path, they soon traversed several dozen desolate immortal mountains. In some of these mountains, they saw many ferocious beasts. Their demonic might was extremely dense, and there were quite a number of true divinity-level ferocious beasts. This ancient road is truly extraordinary, Ling Yun said. How could an ordinary person reach the Saint Domain? How could it attract so many people? Even the chaotic tribe has jumped out, and there are more than 10,000 of them. White Tiger said. Then he paused, looked at Lin Tian, and asked, By the way, kid, didn't you search the consciousness of that chaotic tribe cultivator earlier? What did you find out? What did you find out? Hearing this, the others also looked at Lin Tian. They had all seen Lin Tian search the consciousness of another chaotic tribe true god. I found out a lot, but it's too complicated. I'll just say 3 things. Lin Tian said, First, they came from the chaotic world, a great world twice as vast as the immortal domain. The entire chaotic world only has the chaotic tribe and many other chaotic savage beasts. Second, the chaotic tribe is indeed related to the chaotic king, who is the ruler of this tribe. Third, this tribe is very powerful, including the chaotic king. There are 5 god emperors in the tribe. Hearing his words, Baihu, Ling Yun, and the others couldn't help but be moved. These cultivators of the primal chaos tribe, who had barged into this ancient path, actually came from a primal chaos world that was about twice as vast as the immortal region. Moreover, as expected, they were related to the primal chaos king. The chaotic king is the leader of the chaotic tribe, and there are 5 god emperors. This is really, Whooshing Crocodile muttered to himself. One had to admit that a tribe with 5 god emperors was really terrifying. One had to know that people of that level were all existences that could shake the heavens and move the earth. They all had the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. Also, there's something about the Saint Domain. Lin Tian looked into the depths of the ancient road and said in a low voice, From the chaotic tribe cultivator's consciousness, I found that the so-called Saint Domain doesn't seem to be a great world that's bigger than the immortal domain, as we've heard. It's a super-world seed that exists in the deepest part of the strange space. Hearing this, the group was moved again. It's not a great world, but a world seed? What does that mean? Do you understand the process of a seed blossoming and bearing fruit? Lin Tian explained, a world seed is something that can grow into a real great world. He said, From what I saw in that person's consciousness, it seems to be something that's been nurtured by the heavens and the earth for countless years. Once it blossoms and bears fruit, it can grow into a great world that's countless times bigger than the immortal domain. From this point of view, it's actually not wrong to call it a Saint Domain great world. As he spoke, he continued, "And after a world seed grows into a great world, it's not only vast, but it also has other endless benefits. Simply put, once someone obtains that world seed and places it in their body to let it blossom and bear fruit into a great world, as that great world continues to evolve, their future achievements will be limitless. It's very likely that they'll comprehend a power that's even more terrifying than order." What? White Tiger and the others were even more moved. Their hearts couldn't help but twitch violently. A world seed, after being obtained and placed in one's body, could transform into a great world that was countless times bigger than the immortal domain. Lin Tian's last sentence, "It's very likely that they'll comprehend a power that's even more terrifying than order," caused everyone's hearts to palpitate. This is so exaggerated. Whooshing Crocodile opened its eyes wide. Previously, it had heard the old peak emperor god mention that in the vast world, there were countless cultivators and experts, but there were only 5 people who had comprehended order. From this point alone, it was enough to show how terrifying order was. It was almost an invincible power. But now, Lin Tian actually said that the world seed could nurture a power that's even stronger than order. What kind of power was that? This was simply unheard of from that person's consciousness. That's what I saw. Lin Tian on Dao. Regarding this, he was actually very shocked as well. Then, did you find out what order is in that person's consciousness? White Tiger asked. He was quite curious about order. Lin Tian shook his head. That person only had the knowledge that the world seed could nurture a power that's even more terrifying than order, but he didn't know what order was. Chapter 1819. The Power of Order. This was the strongest power that Lin Tian knew of. However, he did not know what it was. "I'll ask Wu Yi when I go back next time," he said to himself. He was muttering to himself. Bai Ziki and the others could not help but fall into deep thought. What Lin Tian said was really too shocking. No matter what, it's still a super divine item. We have to find a way to get it. The White Tiger said as it tugged on its paw. "We can try, but that thing is not easy to get." Lin Tiandao. That world seed existed in a strange space at the end of the ancient road. If one wanted to get it, it had nothing to do with one's cultivation level. He knew from the mind of that chaotic tribe cultivator that many immortal emperors had tried to get it, but none of them could. If it's not easy to get it, then think of a way to get it. This kind of supreme treasure definitely cannot fall into the hands of others. The whooshing crocodile said. Its eyes were shining, and it was almost drooling. A seed that could nurture a power stronger than order. Just the sound of it was endlessly tempting. Lin Tian glanced at it and did not say anything. He called out to the group, and they continued to walk toward the end of the ancient road. Boom! Right at this moment, in the distant sky, an extremely shocking divine power appeared. A figure was heading straight toward them. There was a faint aura of a god-king floating in the air, causing the whole space to tremble involuntarily. This caused Lin Tianyi and the others to be moved. However, in the next moment, when they saw the face of the figure that was exuding the aura of a god-king, they all sighed in relief. This person was surprisingly the vice dean of the Lord Theological Seminary, Guqing. Guqing came very quickly, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Lin Tianyi and the others. "Senior." Lin Tianyi and the others hurriedly greeted him. Just now, they had thought that it was a god-king from the chaotic tribe. Guqing nodded at them and directly said to Lin Tiandao, "This is only a strand of my divine sense, and it can't last for too long. There are some things that I want to tell you." He said, "You've heard about the Saint Realm at the end of the ancient road, right?" "I know a little." Before Lin Tian could speak, the White Tiger could not help but say, "Lin Tian searched the sea of consciousness of a chaotic tribe true god. I heard that it was not a sacred region, but a superworld seed." Guqing was a little surprised, but he did not hide it. He was prepared to tell this to the group anyway. It is indeed a world seed that was discovered countless years ago. The Lord Theological Seminary was established for the sole purpose of finding the person who could obtain and make that world seed blossom and bear fruit. That thing is very important to the future of the world. It concerns the future of the great heaven and earth, So exaggerated? Whooshing crocodile glared at him. Even Lin Tian, who had the strongest state of mind in the group, was moved. The Lord Theological Seminary existed to find the person who could obtain and make that world seed blossom. Although he was also shocked by this, compared to Guqing's last sentence, this shock was obviously nothing. Guqing's last sentence, that world seed, was actually related to the future of the world. One had to know that the real world was not as simple as a few worlds. It was the sum of the endless worlds and the boundless starry sky. It was the general name of all the places where light and darkness existed. Although that world seed was very shocking, it could be said to be the most precious treasure of the world. However, he did not expect that thing to be related to such a shocking relationship. Whether it is exaggerated or not, even I can't say for sure. However, I know that it is very important, very important. Guqing's expression was very serious as he said, "The Lord Theological Seminary has an ancient teaching that has been passed down for countless years. The Imperial Courtyard has to find a person who can obtain that world seed, but not just anyone can do it. It also mentioned that it must not fall into the hands of a few big clans or a group of powerful people. The chaotic tribe is one of them." This why? Ling Yun muttered. Why does it feel like the chaotic tribe is the enemy of this world? Don't tell me they want to unify this world? I don't know. I can't explain it clearly. Guqing shook his head. The Emperor God Academy had been established for countless years. As the current vice principal, he didn't know how long the Emperor God Academy had been in existence. That ancient teaching was just a simple sentence. What it involved was that the world seed can affect the future of the world, and it can't fall into the hands of the primal chaos race or other great races. Neither he nor the current principal knew what it meant. They only knew that since the founders of the academy had left behind this ancient teaching, it naturally had an extremely important meaning. They definitely couldn't be careless. Aren't you the deputy dean of the Imperial Courtyard? Why are you so unclear about the ancient teaching of the Lord Theological Seminary? The White Tiger muttered. Lin Tian did not think too much about it. He looked at Guqing, paused, and asked, then, Senior, why are you looking for us? Guqing deliberately used a strand of divine consciousness to enter the ancient road to find them. Naturally, he did not think that Guqing was just here to chat. There must be something. Guqing nodded and said in a deep voice, The chaotic tribe is here for the world seed. I and the other higher-ups of the Lord Theological Seminary are pinned down at this time. We are unable to enter the ancient road for the time being. However, a large number of powerful cultivators from the chaotic tribe have entered to obtain the world seed. Moreover, there are a few outstanding cultivators among them. He said, it's not that easy to get the world seed. Even the cultivators from the primal chaos tribe who entered here, including those amazing people, might not be able to get it. However, we can't be careless. He looked at Lin Tian and said, we are pinned down for the time being. The world seed exists at the end of the ancient road. I hope that you will do your best to stop the cultivators from the chaotic tribe from reaching the end of the ancient road. Stop them from getting close to the world seed. Then he changed the topic and said, of course, it would be best if you can obtain it yourself. Lin Tian heard this and nodded without hesitation. Okay, putting aside the fact that the chaos race wanted to kill them and was their enemy, and that he himself was very interested in the world seed and wanted to take a look at it, he didn't want the world seed to fall into the hands of the chaos race. Just the fact that Guqing had saved his life in secret made it impossible for him to reject Guqing's request. As he spoke, he looked at Guqing and continued. However, before that, Junior has to find something first. I think Senior ought to know what that thing is. Senior, please tell Junior where that thing is located on the ancient path. Guqing naturally knew what Lin Tian was talking about, and said, that thing exists in the latter half of this ancient path. As he said this, he directly pointed out a finger, and a faint ray of light entered between Lin Tian's eyebrows. As the ray of light entered between his eyebrows, Lin Tian's eyes lit up. The ray of light that Guqing pointed out not only had a specific coordinate, but also contained images. Among them was a colorful light source. Chapter 1820. Lin Tian's eyes lit up when he found out the exact location of the sword's soul fragment on the ancient road. Now he could save a lot of time searching for the sword's soul fragment. "Thank you, seniors," he thanked Guqing. Guqing waved his hand, and his body suddenly became extremely faint. His real body was fighting with the experts of the chaotic tribe, so his divine consciousness could only exist for a short period of time. "I'll leave the matter of the world seed to you. I really hope that you'll have the chance to obtain it," he said. The purpose of the Lord Theological Seminary was to find the person who could obtain the world seed. Lin Tian was not from the chaotic tribe or the few special experts in the imperial courtyard's ancient teachings. If Lin Tian could obtain the world seed, he would naturally be very happy. After all, this meant that the purpose of the Lord Theological Seminary's existence had been achieved. As he finished speaking, his body became even fainter. Finally, he nodded at Lin Tian and instantly disappeared. "This is a huge and difficult task," the white tiger muttered. It was not an easy task to ambush more than 10,000 experts of the chaotic tribe. After all, there were hundreds of heavenly gods among the 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators, and some of them were peak heavenly gods. Their overall strength was much stronger than theirs. "That senior has done me a favor, so I'll naturally repay it," Lin Tiandao said. "Moreover, the chaotic tribe cultivators who entered wanted to kill us all. We'll just treat it as an eye for an eye. It's no big deal." As he spoke, he called out to Bai Ziki and the others. They flew into the air and headed toward the second half of the ancient road as fast as they could. This ancient road was very special. Although they could fly and shatter space, it was very difficult to open up a space tunnel and travel a long distance. Perhaps even Immortal King-level experts would find it difficult to do so. "How long will it take to reach the exact location of that thing?" Wuxing Crocodile asked. "With our current speed, it'll take us about a year or so to fly nonstop," Lin Tiandao said. "What? 1 year?" Wuxing Crocodile's eyes widened. Obviously, it didn't expect it to take so long. This ancient road is not short. In a situation where we are unable to open a spatial tunnel, there is nothing we can do about it. Lin Tiandao. He didn't say anything else. He called out to the group of people and headed straight into the depths of the ancient path. At the same time, they also released their powerful divine senses to search for valuable immortal treasures in the surroundings. In the blink of an eye, half a month's time passed. Their group traveled through the air, moving far into the depths of the ancient path. Half a month later, on this day, dozens of waves of shocking divine might came from behind them. Some cultivators of the chaotic tribe had arrived at the same spot. When they saw the group of people, they didn't say anything. Some of them immediately attacked, sending out murderous light. This was a peak-level true god expert. He only sent out a single beam of killing light, but it was extremely terrifying. It completely locked down the space in all directions. The killing aura enveloped Lin Tianyi and the others, as if it could destroy everything. F*CK. This group of chaotic tribe dogs. Another group of them caught up, so quickly. "This killing light is really," White Tiger cursed. It was only a half-step to true god. Facing the killing light from a peak-level true god, it naturally felt terrified. Lin Tiandao waved his hand and sent out a golden sword light. The golden sword light was the essence of the sword essence of the Ling Tian sword manual. It instantly shattered the killing light from the true god of the chaotic tribe. Then, it continued to attack without slowing down. With a poof, it penetrated the body of the chaotic tribe cultivator who attacked and shattered him. Moreover, even his spiritual soul was annihilated. This, among the dozens of cultivators of the chaotic tribe, most of them were shocked. A peak-level true god had been killed by a casual strike of the sword. This kind of combat power shocked them, and their pupils constricted. One of the cultivators of the chaotic tribe looked at the middle-aged man in a black robe and said, "Sir, this human, the cultivator of the chaotic tribe who was killed previously, was the most powerful cultivator among them other than the middle-aged man in a black robe. That person had been killed by Lin Tianyi's sword." They instantly knew how terrifying Lin Tianyi was. They knew that only the middle-aged man in a black robe could deal with Lin Tianyi. This was because the middle-aged man in a black robe was a heavenly god in the middle stage. The middle-aged man in a black robe looked cold. Without saying anything, he raised his hand, and a ray of chaotic light slashed towards Lin Tianyi. Middle stage, heavenly god. As this person made his move, 5 elements crocodile and the others instantly sensed this person's cultivation, and their expressions all changed. Moreover, not to mention his cultivation, the chaotic light that he had slashed towards them sent chills down their spines. An oppressive force sealed the surroundings in the blink of an eye. They did not know how much more powerful he was than the peak-level true god who had attacked earlier. Lin Tianyi narrowed his eyes. Naturally, he felt the pressure. After all, his opponent was a heavenly god in the middle stage. However, although he felt the pressure, he was not afraid at all. He swung his Chaos Emperor fist to meet the attack. With a thud, his fist slammed down and collided with the chaotic light that the middle-aged man in a black robe had slashed towards him. With a swoosh, the chaotic light shattered into pieces. How is this possible? His cultivation is only a true god in the middle stage. To be able to kill a peak-level true god in an instant should be his limit. To be able to block Sir's attack. The dozens of cultivators behind the middle-aged man in a black robe were shocked. The middle-aged man in a black robe narrowed his eyes. Then, a cold light flashed across his eyes. He took a step towards Lin Tianyi. Boom! The heavenly god's aura surged. He pressed down on the divine light handprint, which was intertwined with majestic divine power. It was as if it could suppress everything in the world. Lin Tianyi did not waste any time. His divine power vibrated, and he swung his Chaos Emperor fist again. Boom! The powerful punch was even more powerful than the previous one. It collided with the middle-aged man in a black robe and did not lose ground. However, it did not gain the upper hand at all. After all, with his current cultivation, it was still very difficult for him to fight a heavenly god in the middle stage. The middle-aged man in a black robe's face darkened. He was a little uncomfortable that he could not suppress a true god in the middle stage after 2 consecutive attacks. After a cold snort, heavenly god-level divine power surged, and he attacked Lin Tianyi violently. Lin Tianyi did not dodge. He held up the reincarnation map and used the Thunder Divine Path and Nature Divine Path at the same time. He also used various other superpowers and secret skills to fight the heavenly god from the chaotic tribe head-on. Boom! 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 This was an astonishing battle, causing the surrounding void to collapse. With his mid-stage true divinity-level cultivation base, he faced his opponent head-on. Although he was under great pressure, he didn't show any signs of being defeated. They were basically evenly matched. Wu Yimi, is this all you've got? You can't even suppress a true god in the middle stage. That's a little embarrassing. A mocking voice was heard. Another chaotic tribe cultivator appeared in the sky. He was a middle-aged man surrounded by chaotic light. He was also a heavenly god in the middle stage. He walked towards them step by step. Let me give you a hand. Chapter 1821. The dazzling divine light fell on Lin Tianyi, intertwined with a shocking killing intent. It was even stronger than the black-robed middle-aged man that Lin Tianyi was fighting. Lin Tianyi was immediately shaken. With his current combat strength, blocking a middle-stage divine realm expert was already his limit. If another middle-stage divine realm expert attacked him at the same time, he would definitely not be able to defend himself. Boom! The intertwined divine light was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it fell in front of Lin Tianyi, annihilating the void in all directions. Clang! It was also at this moment that a majestic sword hum rang out. Not far away, a beam of sword light slashed over. It was extremely sharp, and with a swoosh, it shattered the divine light that was about to descend upon Lin Tianyi. Moreover, the sword light did not slow down at all. It slashed toward the cultivator from the chaotic tribe who had unleashed the divine light. Its speed was even faster than the divine light, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived before the middle-aged man who had unleashed the divine light. The middle-aged man from the chaotic tribe had long brown hair. He shattered the sword light with one palm. He looked in the direction where the sword light came from and said coldly, "Who is it?" At the same time, Lin Tian was also shaken. While fighting the black-robed middle-aged man, he also looked in the direction where the sword light came from. There a man in black walked over. He seemed to be silent, which made Lin Tian's expression change slightly. At the same time, Baiziki and the others were also shocked. "It's him!" Ling Yun's eyes flashed with surprise. The black-robed man was none other than Mo Byron, the young supremacy who ranked first on the ranking of 100 immortals. Mo Byron walked over and glanced at Lin Tian. Then he walked toward the middle-aged man with long brown hair. "A half-step divine realm expert? You want to fight me?" The brown-haired expert's eyes turned cold. "You're courting death." With a boom, divine light burst out from his body. Endless chaotic light intertwined and pressed down on Mo Byron. This strike was at least 10 times stronger than the ball of divine radiance that struck towards Lin Tian earlier. Mo Byron's expression did not change. In the blink of an eye, he was enveloped by the divine light. However, when the chaotic light filled with murderous intent landed on him, it did not cause him any harm. He walked out of the divine light silently. He did not slow down and continued to walk toward the middle-aged man with brown hair. This caused everyone's expression to change. That massive chaotic killing light was actually useless against Mo Byron. Just now, he didn't seem to have used any defensive spells at all. But now, how could he? Ling Yun and the others were shocked. Lin Tian was also surprised. When Mo Byron appeared, he had been watching him closely. His eyesight and divine sense were much stronger than ordinary people, so he was sure that Mo Byron didn't put up any defense. However, that brown-haired, middle-aged man's primal chaos light had no effect on Mo Byron. This was hard for him to understand. What happened? The black-robed, middle-aged man who was fighting against him narrowed his eyes. He couldn't help but frown at what was happening. The brown-haired, middle-aged man's eyes turned cold. A mere half-step heavenly god, a human cultivator that their tribe looked down on, had actually rendered his killing ray, a mid-stage heavenly god of the primal chaos tribe, ineffective. "I'll end you," that person coldly spoke. With a thunderous boom, an even more terrifying primordial light gushed out, transforming into a gigantic primordial chaos sword. Its sharp sword intent seemed to want to slash apart everything in this world as it slashed down towards Mo Byron. In the blink of an eye, the primal chaos sword was right in front of Mo Byron. The heavenly god-level sword power was surging violently. Mo Byron was still silent. As the faint light flickered, a boundless heavenly river appeared behind him. It was completely formed by the primal chaos light, and there were even large stars orbiting within it. It seemed to be able to suppress the heavens and the earth, intertwining with an unparalleled majesty. Lin Tian was the first to be shocked. At the same time, the two heavenly gods of the chaotic tribe, Baiziki, Wuxing Crocodile, Nai Yao Yao, and Fanning Xiong, were all shocked. Chaotic body, King's domain, primal chaos, immortal river. Ling Yun's eyes widened. He's a chaotic body. Rumbling sounds could be heard. Behind Mo Byron, the primal chaos, immortal river surged violently. The waves rose to the sky and surrounded many stars. The power was so strong that it made people's hearts palpitate. Chaotic body, so that's what it is. No wonder the primal chaos-killing light that the heavenly god of the chaotic tribe unleashed was useless against him. Lin Tian's eyes lit up. At this moment, he could not help but stop fighting with the black-robed, middle-aged man from the chaotic tribe. They stood opposite each other, and their gazes fell upon Mo Byron. The primal chaos light that the brown-haired chaotic tribe cultivator had unleashed and the primal chaos light that surrounded the other chaotic tribe cultivators was because they had lived in the chaotic world for a long time and cultivated the ancient scriptures about chaos. The chaotic body, on the other hand, was born from the fusion of chaos and could control all chaotic energy. It could be said that it was the core of chaos. Ordinary chaotic energy could not hurt the chaotic body at all, just like how a drop of water could not drown an ocean. Of course, this also depended on the difference in cultivation level. After all, a half-step heavenly god chaotic body would not be able to withstand the primal chaos light that was unleashed by an ordinary divine emperor chaotic tribe cultivator. Even if the chaotic body was born from the fusion of chaos, the body would not be able to withstand it. However, the brown-haired middle-aged man's cultivation level was not much higher than M.O. Byron's. There was only a difference of 2 small levels. As such, he could not do anything to M.O. Byron. It could be said that M.O. Byron was the natural counter to his opponent. The brown-haired middle-aged man, was shocked and angry. He could not help but take a step back. He was a little afraid of M.O. Byron. This was because the king of his tribe had the chaotic body. He naturally knew how terrifying the chaotic body was. It was known as the strongest body constitution under the reincarnation body. If the reincarnation body did not appear, it would be able to suppress all bloodline constitutions under normal circumstances. He would never have thought that stepping onto the ancient road and attacking Lin Tian would provoke a chaotic body. M.O. Byron strode towards his opponent. Without saying anything else, the primal chaos light that was intertwined by the primal chaos immortal river behind him became even more terrifying. In the next moment, the primal chaos light that was intertwined by the primal chaos immortal river pressed down on the brown-haired chaotic tribe expert. In the blink of an eye, the primal chaos immortal river covered all directions. Vaguely, the primal chaos divine Tao intertwined and enveloped his opponent. No! The heavenly god-tier powerhouse screamed in horror as he summoned a massive amount of divine power to defend himself. However, it was futile. In an instant, the chaotic celestial river crushed his divine power light screen. Then his physical body and divine soul were crushed into pieces. This is really, in the distance, Ling Yun could not help but stare. He killed a middle-stage heavenly god with one blow. The chaotic body, the number 1 on the ranking of 100 immortals. He really lives up to his name. But how terrifying! Wuxing Crocodile could not help but shrink his neck. Bai Ziki and Yang Qi's eyes shone brightly as they stared at M.O. Byron. Both of them couldn't help but want to fight. Chapter 1822. Lin Tian naturally knew that M.O. Byron was trying to help him. He roughly knew the reason as well. When M.O. Byron was refining the Origin Divine weapon, he had helped him. M.O. Byron was obviously trying to return the favor. After M.O. Byron killed the brown-haired middle-aged man, he asked if he still needed help. He shook his head. "Many thanks, but there's no need," he said. With that, he channeled the Sun Heart Sutra to the maximum with a boom. The reincarnation diagram rose up once again and merged with the nameless Tao law, Thunder Divine Tao, and Nature Divine Tao to form the strongest reincarnation diagram of the Divine Tao. However, compared to before, the reincarnation diagram was undoubtedly many times stronger. In his body, the power of faith in the immortal Emperor Pagoda surged out and intertwined in his body, increasing his battle prowess by roughly 3 times in an instant. The divine might that erupted from his body also increased by 3 times. Boom! As he raised the divine Tao reincarnation diagram with his battle prowess increased by 3 times, a divine and majestic aura surged out. This was the strongest reincarnation diagram he had ever created. As this aura surged out, even though M.O. Byron's expression didn't change, his eyes flickered. The black-robed, middle-aged man from the chaotic tribe trembled. He cursed inwardly, "Damn it!" Then he turned around and fled. At this time, he felt the terrifying power of Lin Tian's reincarnation diagram. He felt the threat of death. If he tried to resist, he definitely wouldn't be able to. Moreover, there was a chaotic body beside him. He wouldn't be able to block it. Therefore, no matter what, he could only escape to have a chance of survival. Lin Tian's eyes were indifferent. With a single thought, the reincarnation diagram that was supported by 3 times the battle prowess directly pressed down on his opponent. Boundless energy surged out. The reincarnation diagram that was supported by 3 times the battle prowess was incomparably tyrannical. The divine might instantly sealed the space in all directions. The black-robed, middle-aged man from the chaotic tribe was shocked, angry, and terrified that his escape route was blocked. He summoned his heavenly god-level divine might to meet the attack. However, under the divine path reincarnation diagram that Lin Tian had activated with 3 times his battle prowess, the divine might he had unleashed was clearly not enough. It was crushed to pieces at the first moment. Afterwards, the divine path reincarnation diagram continued to press down without slowing down. Ah! With a blood-curdling scream, the black-robed, middle-aged man from the chaotic race was crushed by the supreme Tao reincarnation diagram. His divine soul perished along with it. This brat's battle strength seems to have soared a lot. He's only a mid-stage true god, but he can actually kill a mid-stage heavenly god. Ling Yun's eyes widened. He didn't know that Lin Tian had tripled his combat strength with the power of faith. Amazing! And Ai Yaoni said, "Pervert!" The white tiger muttered. Bai Ziki, Yang Qi, and the others were visibly shaken. Lin Tian, a mid-true god, had killed a mid-heaven god. It was a shocking sight. How could this be? Weak humans, you actually, in another position, dozens of primal chaos tribe cultivators were trembling. The fact that Mo Byron had killed one of their mid-stage heavenly deities was enough to shock them. However, no matter what, Mo Byron was still a half-step heavenly deity. Moreover, he could restrain their chaos physique. But now Lin Tian, a mid-stage true god, had actually killed one of their mid-stage heavenly deities in one strike. Go! Retreat! Among the dozens of primal chaos tribe cultivators, one of them shouted in a trembling voice and turned to flee. Now that 2 of their heavenly god-tier powerhouses had been killed, how were they going to fight back? They could only run. In an instant, swooshing sounds could be heard as the dozens of primal chaos tribe cultivators fled at lightning speed. Lin Tian glanced at the dozens of primal chaos tribe cultivators. With a casual wave of his hand, a large number of sword rays shot out like raindrops. At this time, his triple combat strength was no longer there. Moreover, his essence, energy, and spirit were much weaker than when he was at his peak. However, the sword rays he shot out were still terrifying. It was easy for him to kill ordinary cultivators below the heavenly god level. Suddenly, puff, 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 streaks of blood mist exploded, dyeing a large area of the void red. The dozens of primal chaos tribe cultivators were all killed in the blink of an eye. Their bodies and spirits were all destroyed. Killing true gods is like chopping grass. The white tiger rolled his eyes. Lin Tian's combat strength was too strong. Lin Tian himself did not react to this. He walked in the void and stood in front of Mo Byron. Thank you. He thanked Mo Byron again. He had the power of faith. After tripling his combat strength, he could kill a middle-stage heavenly god. However, that would consume a lot of divine power. Moreover, that level of combat strength could only be maintained for an instant. After that instant, he might not even be able to defeat an early-stage heavenly god. On this day, 2 middle-stage heavenly gods came together. If Mo Byron did not appear to help, they would be in trouble. Mo Byron shook his head. Lin Tian had helped him more than 10 years ago. He felt that it was only right for him to help now. Those people just now were primal chaos tribe cultivators. They came from another world. Lin Tian told Mo Byron some things about the primal chaos tribe. I know, Mo Byron said. Mo Byron said he had also been attacked by primal chaos race cultivators before. Just like Lin Tian, he had also searched the other party's sea of consciousness and learned many things. He nodded at Lin Tian and did not say anything else. He walked toward the southeast and soon disappeared. What a terrifying man. I didn't expect to meet another primal chaos physique of the same generation. Whooshing Crocodile murmured. Back in the 10 Directions heavenly domain, there was also a primal chaos physique. He was said to be invincible among his peers. In the end, he was killed by Lin Tian with a saint weapon. Lin Tian glanced in that direction and said, "All right, let's go." Now, his first goal was to obtain the Sword Soul Fragment. He called Bai Ziki and the others to continue walking toward the depths of the ancient road. They were all moving at a very fast speed. Time passed little by little. The ancient road became extremely chaotic after the primal chaos tribe's invasion. Most of the Lord Theological Seminary's disciples who entered the ancient road were in a bad situation. This was because although the ordinary disciples of the Lord Theological Seminary were young geniuses, they were obviously much weaker than the primal chaos tribe's experts. Lin Tian, Bai Ziki, and the others walked toward the depths of the ancient road. In the blink of an eye, a full year had passed. In a year's time, some of them had been ambushed by the primal chaos tribe more than 10 times. There were a few times when it was extremely dangerous. There were peak heavenly gods who chased after them, causing them to almost be annihilated. However, they managed to survive in the end. On this day, Lin Tian led the way. The group concealed their auras and came to a deep mountain surrounded by white fog. "We're here!" When they arrived and looked ahead, Lin Tian's eyes couldn't help but shine. Chapter 18:23. Deep in the mountains, the white fog intertwined like the hazy morning fog. When Lin Tian, Bai Ziki, and the rest arrived at this place, they did not hesitate and directly led the group into the deep mountains. This mountain was not very majestic. However, when the group of people walked in it, their divine sense was suppressed. Moreover, the suppression was very strong. Basically, they could not use their divine sense here. They could only rely on their vision to observe the surroundings. The sky was filled with thick fog, and the distance that one could see through was very limited. "We're counting on you, kid," Whooshing Crocodile said. He knew that Lin Tian had the eye of delusion and could easily see through the thick white fog in this place. Lin Tian had opened his eye of delusion early in the morning, and strands of dragon patterns surrounded his eyes as he led the group on their way. Soon an hour passed. An hour later, at this moment, Lin Tian's eyes flashed, and the divine sword in his sea of consciousness trembled slightly. This was the reaction of sensing a new sword soul fragment. The divine sword in his sea of consciousness trembled slightly, intertwining with strands of 7-colored divine light, and in his sea of consciousness, it spread out in the direction of the deep mountains. "Let's go!" He led Bai Ziki and the rest forward, and their pace became a little faster. Soon, they had crossed dozens of miles. At this moment, a pool of water suddenly appeared in front of them, occupying an area of about 100 feet. A fist-sized 7-colored light source floated above it, intertwining with divine light, as if it was the first ray of light before the creation of heaven and earth. "Another ball of this thing," Ling Yun muttered. Ling Yun muttered. He had already seen Lin Tian obtain a few balls of this divine light, and every ball of divine light was the same, and their auras were very shocking. And Ai Yao Yao was a little moved. With her cultivation, she naturally sensed that this ball of divine light was not ordinary at first glance. Lin Tian's eyes shone brightly. Found it. His biggest goal in joining the Lord Theological Seminary and stepping onto this ancient road was to find this thing in front of him. Without a doubt, this was the sword's soul fragment of the rainbow divine sword in his sea of consciousness. "Wait for me here." He looked at little Tai Chu and the others. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and arrived at the edge of the pool in an instant. As he came to this position, the 7-colored divine sword in his sea of consciousness immediately trembled. Then, the sword soul fragment above the pool also trembled. It seemed to have sensed the aura of the divine sword and began to resonate with the divine sword. Buzz! 7-colored light flickered, and the sword's spirit fragment slowly floated up as if it had its own consciousness. In the blink of an eye, it came to Lin Tian and floated up and down. In the next moment, the fist-sized sword's soul fragment flashed and entered Lin Tian's body. In the blink of an eye, the sword's soul fragment moved around his body and went straight to his sea of consciousness. With a whoosh, it entered the divine sword at the bottom of his sea of consciousness. In an instant, the divine sword trembled and some of the dim divine patterns on it lit up. Then, a majestic 7-colored light overflowed from it. This 7-colored light contained an astonishing amount of celestial spiritual chi, as well as the power of the Great Path, the Immortal Path, and the Divine Path. It surged into Lin Tian's body. Lin Tian's body shook slightly, and his eyes sparkled. He immediately activated the Heart Sutra of Sun and began to refine the seven-colored light that entered his body. In an instant, as he absorbed and refined the seven-colored divine light, his essence, spirit, and cultivation began to rise at a very fast speed. Lin Tian had long been used to this. This was a gift from the sword's soul fragment that he found every time he found a new one. It was the power of heaven and earth that the sword's soul fragment absorbed. Moreover, every time he found a new sword soul fragment, the amount of power the new sword soul fragment gave him was directly related to his current cultivation level. It was as if the sword's soul fragment had its own consciousness. He stood by the pool, and the seven-colored light surrounded his body. As time passed, it became more and more dazzling. In the blink of an eye, a total of 7 days passed. After 7 days, the new sword's soul fragment and the divine sword had completely merged. The seven-colored divine light around his body gradually disappeared, leaving only the golden divine light surrounding his body. It had become many times more stable than before. Middle-stage true God realm, he muttered to himself. Since the gift of the new sword soul fragment, his cultivation level had improved tremendously. Now he was not far away from the peak of true God realm. He scanned his sea of consciousness. In it, more of the divine patterns on the seven-colored divine sword had lit up. About 2/9 of it was still dim. I found more than 80% of the sword's soul fragments scattered in heaven and earth. There's still about 20% of them left. He muttered to himself. The seven-colored divine sword in his sea of consciousness was covered with strange divine patterns. He could not understand them. However, every time he found a new sword soul fragment, when the sword soul fragment merged with the divine sword, a part of these strange divine patterns on the surface of the sword would light up. Therefore, he was sure that when all these divine patterns on the surface of the sword lit up, it would be the day when the divine sword would become complete. I wonder how powerful it will be when it is complete. A ray of light flashed in his eyes. This divine sword was the most important reason for him to embark on the path of cultivation. It had a great impact on him. He was also full of expectations for this divine sword. Once it was complete, he was 100% sure that its power would be earth-shattering. He took a deep breath and calmed his mind. Then, he turned around and took a step forward, arriving in front of Ling Yun and the others. That thing, what is it? And Yao Yao looked at him and could not help but ask. As a true god, she could feel that the sword's soul fragment was not ordinary. It exuded an unapproachable aura, and its aura was very frightening. She could not help but tremble. She had a feeling that she could not get close to it at all. However, Lin Tian was so close to it and easily took it in his hand. This really surprised her. It's very important. Lin Tian Dao. He did not say too much about it. He called out to Bai Ziki and the others to step out of the mountains. Soon, they were out of the mountains, to the end of the ancient road. Appearing outside the mountains, he looked at the deepest part of the ancient road and said, now that he had achieved his goal of setting foot on the ancient road, he would immediately go to the deepest part of the ancient road to protect the world seed that existed there. This was what Gu Qing, who had saved his life, entrusted to him. He had to complete it seriously. Moreover, the significance of the world seed was very special. It was so important that it could affect the future of the world. No matter what, he could not let the cultivators of the chaotic tribe get the world seed. At the same time, he was also very interested in the world seed. If he could do it, he would take it. After all, it was a sacred object that could nurture power that surpassed the power of order. Moreover, this was also what Gu Qing was looking forward to. She hoped that he could take it. Go, go, go! That world seed must be taken by our own people. We can't let others get it, Whooshing Crocodile said. Immediately, the group rose into the air and headed toward the end of the ancient road. Chapter 1824. The chaotic divine light was extremely fast, and the aura it carried was horrifying. Lin Tian and the others could not help but be shocked. Dodge! Lin Tian said in a low voice. He asked Bai Ziki, Fanning Xiong, and the others to dodge. At the same time, he moved a few hundred feet away. They dodged the chaotic divine light, which landed on a desolate mountain behind them. The entire desolate mountain was pulverized into ashes, and smoke and dust filled the sky. Then, they raised their heads and looked in the direction where the chaotic divine light came from. There, two figures appeared. They were two middle-aged men. They were surrounded by the chaotic divine light, and their auras were terrifying. Peak of the divine realm. Looking at the two men, Whooshing Crocodile was shocked. At the same time, Ling Yun and the others were also shocked. Two Peak of the divine realm masters appeared. With their strength, they would not be able to withstand it no matter what. Only Lin Tian's expression did not change much. Only the intertwining light in his eyes fell on the two middle-aged men. You can actually avoid it. For weak humans, you are not bad. One of the two middle-aged men from the chaotic tribe spoke. He looked at Lin Tian and the others as if he was looking at a group of mortals. Don't talk nonsense. The 10 divine princes will soon arrive in this space. Before that, we will kill all the humans here. That world seed has nothing to do with one's cultivation level. The chances of us getting it are very small. Only the 10 divine princes have the ability to do so. The other man said coldly. The middle-aged man from the chaotic tribe who spoke first nodded. He raised his hand, and the chaotic divine handprint appeared, covering all directions. With a rumble, the space was imprisoned. The destructive power pressed down on Lin Tianyi and the others, not giving them any chance to dodge. Facing the chaotic divine handprint pressing down, Whooshing Crocodile felt goosebumps all over his body. The existence of the peak of the divine realm was too powerful for them now. They could not fight against it at all. The difference in cultivation level was too great. You should prepare to become true gods, Lin Tian said. He was not afraid of the giant palm of divine light that was coming down on him. Whooshing Crocodile looked at him. Kid, what are you saying all of a sudden? What true god are we preparing to ascend to? The current situation is that we're about to... Boom! Divine energy shot up into the sky and shook the surroundings. Rainbow divine light surged out of Lin Tian's body, directly interrupting Whooshing Crocodile. A divine sword floated out of his body, surrounded by strands of 7-colored divine light. With a sizzling sound, it shattered the middle-aged chaotic race man's chaotic hand seal. In this place, the heavens trembled, the earth shook, and the void in all directions twisted because of the appearance of the 7-colored divine sword. This is... The expressions of Baiziki and the others instantly changed. The Whooshing Crocodile's expression also changed. Then, its eyes widened, and it was pleasantly surprised. You can actually summon this thing again. It naturally knew that there was such a divine sword in Lin Tian's body. It also knew how powerful this divine sword was. Leave their flesh shells and refine them with the saint refining treasure art. Master Crocodile is ready to ascend to the true god realm. It rubbed its claws excitedly. Now, Lin Tian had summoned the divine sword from his body. It did not care about the two-peak celestial god standing in front of it at all. With Lin Tian's current cultivation of middle-stage true god, this killing sword could definitely kill the two of them. At the same time, in the sky, the middle-aged man from the chaotic clan looked at the divine sword that rushed out of Lin Tian's body and was immediately moved. He naturally felt the horror of this divine sword. Moreover, the other person next to him also narrowed his eyes. However, in the next moment, the two of them revealed a bright light in their eyes, revealing a greedy luster. Good stuff. Both of them moved at the same time. They reached out their hands and grabbed the 7-colored divine sword beside Lin Tian. Obviously, their thoughts were exactly the same at this time. They wanted to seize the 7-colored divine sword. With a rumble, two-peak celestial god's divine powers pressed down. It was much more terrifying than the divine light giant handprint just now. Lin Tian looked at the two of them and could not help but sneer. After obtaining the new sword's soul fragment in the deep mountain previously, he found that he could temporarily communicate with the 7-colored divine sword in his sea of consciousness. Therefore, when the two peak celestial gods from the chaotic clan pressed down on him, he did not care at all and did not show any fear. At this time, he had successfully summoned the seven-colored divine sword from his sea of consciousness. He had a feeling that he could easily destroy everything. These two people dared to make such a move to snatch the divine sword that he had summoned. He smiled sarcastically. Holding the divine sword that he had summoned from his body, he casually swung the sword at the two people who were pressing down on him. Clang! The sound of the sword was ear-piercing and shook all directions. The invisible sword momentum was like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves. It was unstoppable. Poof! Poof! Blood sputtered. The two middle-aged men from the chaotic clan who were pressing down on him exploded immediately and were slashed into two clouds of blood mist. This sword, and Yao Yao could not help but tremble. At the same time, Bai Ziki, Ling Yun, Yang Qi, Fanning Xiong, and the others' bodies shook violently. The two peak celestial gods were easily slashed into pieces by the divine sword that had rushed out from Lin Tian's body. Brother Lin actually has such a divine weapon? Fanning Xiong's eyes widened. The divine sword's aura was too terrifying. At this time, his internal organs could not help but feel a chill run down their spines. Gurgle, gurgle. The sound of flesh and blood wriggling could be heard. The broken flesh and bones of the two celestial gods from the chaotic clan merged together in the blink of an eye and reformed into a new body. At this time, they looked at Lin Tian again and looked at the seven-colored divine sword in Lin Tian's hand. Their eyes were filled with fear, and they could not help but feel a chill run down their spines. As peak celestial gods, the two of them had only faced the impact of the sword radiance of the seven-colored divine sword once. They could deeply feel how terrifying the seven-colored divine sword was. It was born to destroy and could almost cut through everything. Let's go! One of them gritted his teeth and called out to the other. They immediately fled into the distance. At this time, they did not want to steal the sword anymore. This was because they knew very well that the divine sword was controlled by Lin Tian at this time. There was no way they could steal it. With two whooshing sounds, the two of them were extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they were already far away. You can't escape. Lin Tian smiled. The seven-colored divine sword in his hand trembled, and the seven-colored divine light rippled out like ripples in water. In the blink of an eye, it had covered an endless distance. With a bang, the two celestial gods from the chaotic clan were forcefully knocked back. A majestic divine power fell around them and immediately restrained the two of them. The two chaotic clan powerhouses struggled with all their might. Their peak celestial god divine power surged wildly. However, it was useless. They could not break free from the divine power seal set by Lin Tian's seven-colored divine sword. Damn it, let us go. Chapter 1825. The two peak, heavenly god-tier powerhouses from the chaotic tribe were terrified. They were completely restrained and could not break free at all. Let us go. The two of them shouted at Lin Tian. Lin Tian did not say anything to them. After suppressing them with the power of the rainbow divine sword, he sent his divine thought origin into one of them's consciousness. Previously, the two of them had mentioned that the 10 divine princes from the chaotic tribe were about to descend. They were the most likely to obtain the world's seed at the end of the ancient road. He wanted to know more about the so-called 10 divine princes from the chaotic tribe. At least, he wanted to know how strong the 10 of them were. In the blink of an eye, 10 breaths had passed. He withdrew his divine thought and frowned. What's wrong? What did you find? Whooshing Crocodile asked. Bai Ziki and the others looked at him. In about a day at most, the 10 strongest youths from the chaotic tribe will step onto this ancient road. Their cultivation base is either at the peak heavenly god tier or at the half-step divine king level. All of them have the ability to kill ordinary divine kings. Lin Tian said in a deep voice. What? Upon hearing this, White Tiger and the others were shocked. The higher one's cultivation base was, the harder it would be to kill a powerhouse of a higher cultivation base. Among the 10 divine princes from the chaotic tribe, There were some who were at the peak heavenly god tier who could kill ordinary divine kings. It was a little shocking. They are the killing weapons that the chaotic tribe has spent endless effort to cultivate. Their bloodline is shocking, and each of them has soaked in countless heavenly treasures that were nurtured in the chaotic tribe. They were even bestowed with god-tier chaotic king blood to forge their flesh and bones. Each of them is terrifying. Lin Tian Ondao. These were the things he learned from the two-peak heavenly god-tier powerhouses from the chaotic tribe. He was shocked, and Yao Yao looked at him and at the rainbow divine sword in his hand. Can you stop the divine king with this sword? When she heard Lin Tian mention the 10 divine princes of the primal chaos tribe, she was naturally moved. Once those 10 terrifying characters really stepped into the path, they definitely wouldn't be able to stop them with their current strength. Perhaps even the current generation of higher-ups of the Lord Theological Seminary wouldn't be able to do so. Moreover, those higher-ups were also being held back by the other divine kings of the primal chaos tribe, so they wouldn't have the energy to come to this ancient path. At this time, she thought of the 7-colored divine sword in Lin Tian's hand. The sword's aura was too strong. She felt that with Lin Tian's cultivation, he might be able to fight against a God King expert if he controlled the 7-colored divine sword. Sure. Lin Tian nodded, then said, however, I can't control it as I wish now. I can only control it for about half an hour. After that, I don't know when I'll be able to summon it again. The 7-colored divine sword was extremely powerful. With his current cultivation as a mid-true god, he should be able to stop an ordinary divine king if he controlled this divine sword. However, he still couldn't summon the 7-colored divine sword at any time. At this time, he was only able to use it because he had just obtained a sword soul fragment. He knew very well that the chances of him being able to summon it again in the future were too small, so small that it was negligible. Moreover, even if he could summon it, the amount of divine power required to control it would be ridiculous. He wouldn't be able to hold it for long. He can't control it as he wishes? And Yao Yao was surprised. He can't? Lin Tian shook his head. Whooshing Crocodile added, basically, whether or not he can summon this divine sword completely depends on the sword's mood. It has nothing to do with him. And Yao Yao was speechless. She didn't know what to say. They clearly had such a destructive killing weapon, but they couldn't control it as they wished. Then what should we do? If the 10 divine princes of the chaotic tribe really enter, we won't be able to fight them at all. White Tiger frowned and said, the 10 people who could even kill an ordinary divine king would enter the ancient road in about a day's time. The strongest among them, Lin Tian, was only a mid-true god. He was no match for them at all. The difference in cultivation was just too great. For a moment, the group fell into deep thought. The 10 divine princes of the chaotic tribe would soon enter the ancient road. Things would become very troublesome. Don't think about it. The 10 divine princes are not people that weak humans like you can fight against. There was a cold snort. Seeing Lin Tianyi and the others frown, the 2 chaotic tribe experts who were imprisoned thought that the group was afraid. One of them sneered and threatened, we'll give you a chance now. Let us go and hand over the divine sword. Perhaps we can secretly take you out of this ancient road and save your lives. Otherwise, all of you will die here. This is an extra kindness to you. Let us go now. Do you want to be buried on this ancient road? The other person said coldly, bury your grandfather. You're asking for a beating. F***CK. Do you know that you're now prisoners? Whooshing Crocodile, White Tiger, and Ling Yun immediately cursed. They punched and kicked the 2 chaotic tribe experts who were imprisoned by Lin Tian's rainbow divine sword. Damn it! How dare you? Be **starred. You! How dare you hit my face? The 2 chaotic tribe experts were shocked and angry. I'll beat the 2 of you to death. Whooshing Crocodile slashed out with his claws. White Tiger and Ling Yun did not hold back either. They hit the 2 chaotic tribe experts in the face. The 2 chaos beings were strong, and their bodies were strong, too. But now, they were restrained by the power of the rainbow, God's word. Their bodies were weakened, and soon they were beaten black and blue by the man and the 2 beasts. Their faces were covered in blood. You. The two chaotic tribe experts were imprisoned and could not move. Their eyes were almost spitting out flames. You can still talk? Continue to beat them. White Tiger gritted his teeth. The group was worried about the arrival of the 10 divine princes who could kill ordinary supreme gods. However, the two chaotic tribe experts threatened them at this time. It was as if they were walking into a fire. Since when were they willing to be taken advantage of? At this time, the two chaotic tribe experts were imprisoned and could not fight back. Both of them were ready to die. Banging sounds could be heard continuously. In the blink of an eye, the two chaotic tribe experts were beaten until their faces were deformed. All right, stop fooling around. Lin Tiandao. He stopped the man and the two beasts and took action right away. Using his powerful divine thought and the power of the rainbow divine sword, he obliterated the two's divine souls in an instant, leaving only their flesh shells. He handed them to the 5 elements crocodile, Ling Yun, and the rest. With the two-peak heavenly god tier powerhouses' bodies refined using the saint refining precious technique, the 6 of them would be able to step into the true god realm in a short time. Chapter 1826. Lin Tian shook his head as he listened to Wuxing Crocodile's words. The higher the cultivation base, the weaker the effect of using the saint refinement treasure technique to refine the flesh shell of other living beings to strengthen oneself. In fact, after reaching the middle stage of true God, the efficiency of using this method to increase one's cultivation base is no longer effective. It's basically useless. He said. Wuxing Crocodile could not help but be stunned. Is there such a thing? Although it had learned the saint refinement treasure technique, it had never thought about or studied this treasure technique, so it did not know about this. Of course. Lin Tian nodded and continued. All right, all of you refine these 2 flesh shells. Once you reach the true God level, you'll be able to deal with any ordinary chaotic tribe cultivators. As soon as he finished speaking, he scanned the surroundings with his powerful divine telekinesis and quickly found a more secluded place for Baiziki and the rest to refine the 2 heavenly god-level flesh shells. He, Little Taichu, and Ni Yao Yao would protect Baiziki and the rest. Buzz! Baiziki and the rest began to perform the saint refinement treasure technique. For a moment, 6 different lights intertwined in this place. After the 6 of them had reached the half-step true God realm, they had been walking on this ancient road for more than a year. In this 1 year, they had been comprehending the divine Tao law all the time. They had already gained a very deep understanding of the divine Tao that corresponded to their respective immortal Taos. There was already a faint divine Tao aura intertwining in their bodies. Now, they were only lacking a huge amount of pure energy to break through to the true God realm. The flesh and blood essence of these 2-peak heavenly god-tier powerhouses, after being refined with the saint refining treasure technique, was enough to provide them with a huge amount of energy to break through to the true God realm. The 4 people and 2 beasts refined the 2 heavenly god flesh shells together. Their aura continued to increase, and their cultivation base slowly became stronger. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. 7 days later, 6 powerful true God auras surged out continuously. The 4 people and 2 beasts had broken through to the true God level 1 after another. Lord Crocodile is also in the true God level. Wuxing Crocodile could not help but howl excitedly. From the Immortal King realm to the True Divinity realm, this was a huge qualitative change. Now that it had completed this qualitative change, one could clearly sense that its strength had increased by countless times. Beside them, Fanning Xiong, Ling Yun, and the White Tiger were also excited. Baiziki and Yang Qi, on the other hand, had a gleam in their eyes. Consolidate my realm, Lin Tiandao. Baiziki, Ling Yun, and the rest nodded and started to operate their ancient scriptures to consolidate their current real god cultivation. Just like that, another month passed in the blink of an eye. A month later, on this day, the 6 of them stood up one after another, stabilizing their current cultivation base. The true God aura they exuded stabilized. Let's go. Seeing that everyone's cultivation had completely stabilized, Lin Tian called for them to leave this place. Speaking of which, it has been more than a month. The 10 deities of the primal chaos race should be on this ancient road. I wonder where they are now. White Tiger said, I don't know where they are now, but they must be heading towards the depths of this ancient road because the world seed is there. Lin Tiandao said, we don't have to worry about anything now. Let's go straight to the depths. He had promised Guqing that he would do his best to stop the primal chaos race and prevent them from snatching the world's seed at the end of the ancient road. Therefore, he had to do his best. Even if the 10 deities of this bloodline were terrifying, he had to stop them. Now, the experts of the primal chaos race were at various positions on the ancient road. Their numbers were limited, so they could not go to every position to ambush them. Moreover, the 10 deities of the primal chaos race and the other peak divine realm experts of the primal chaos race were not a match for them. Now, there was only one choice, which was to go straight to the end of the ancient road. When he got there, he could either go and get the world seed himself, or he could engrave endless killing formations outside the special space where the world seed was. Then he could wait for the experts of the primal chaos race to come and kill them with the killing formations. As he thought about it, he could not help but frown as there were many uncertainties. Firstly, he might not be able to obtain the world seed. Secondly, with his current cultivation, the most powerful killing formation that he could inscribe could only kill an ordinary peak divine realm expert. It was impossible for him to deal with the 10 divine princes of the chaotic tribe. Forget it, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In the end, he said to himself in his heart. He stopped thinking about it and rushed to the end of the ancient road at an extremely fast speed. At this time, they were already at the second half of the ancient road. They were about half a year away from the end of the ancient road. Whoosh! 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 The sound of air being torn apart could be heard one after another. The group of people were flying at an extremely fast speed, almost shattering the void as they flew. In the blink of an eye, more than 2 months had passed. Over 2 months later, on this day, this ancient road suddenly trembled violently. A wave of divine might that overflowed into the sky surged out, as if a terrifying, ferocious beast had awakened. That aura was extremely shocking, causing the group to tremble. The aura of an emperor god. Lin Tian was shocked. He looked at the ancient road behind him. An emperor god had entered the ancient road. Bai Ziki, Ling Yun, Fan Xiong, and the others naturally felt the aura, and all of them were shocked. At this time, there was another loud rumble. Another emperor god aura appeared, causing the ancient road to shake violently again. You old fart, didn't you snatch the world seed and can't take it away? Why are you here? A voice was heard. Lin Tian's expression changed when he heard this voice. The voice was too familiar. Wasn't it the voice of the heartless old gangster? That old fart came here? It's that old fart, the White Tiger said. He also recognized the owner of the voice and could not help but stare. Boom! 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 Astonishing god emperor auras interweaved and surged continuously. The old hoodlum seemed to be fighting with another god emperor. Terrifying god emperor auras surged, as if they were going to shatter this ancient road. Even though the group was very far away, they were still trembling slightly from the auras. However, the two emperor god auras intertwined in a fixed area behind them and did not surge to this place. It seems that the other emperor god is being held back by that old fart. He can't get away now. Whooshing Crocodile looked in that direction. It had seen the old gangster before, so it could recognize the old gangster's voice. Then, who is the other emperor god? Lin Tian looked at the back of the ancient road. Strands of dragon light intertwined in his eyes as he sensed the fluctuation in the space. If I'm not wrong, it should be the King of Chaos, he said. Chapter 18:27. The two emperor gods' auras surged violently on the ancient road. The entire ancient road seemed to be on the verge of shattering. Lin Tian and the others were surprised. They did not expect the two emperor gods, the old hooligan and the King of Chaos, to be here. The group stood there and sensed the collision of the Emperor God's auras from afar. Then, after 10 breaths, the two Emperor God's auras began to fade away. The ancient road became stable again in the blink of an eye. It seems that they have fought their way out of this ancient road, Whooshing Crocodile said. Lin Tian nodded. He looked at the back of the ancient road for another 10 breaths. Then he beckoned the group to continue deeper. He had accepted Guqing's request. Now, the most important thing was to reach the end of the ancient road. He had to either get the world seed himself or stop the chaotic tribe from getting it. They maintained their speed. Soon another month had passed. On this day, a tall man appeared behind them. He walked over from afar. His eyes were deep and indifferent. Humans? The man spoke. His voice was indifferent. The space around Lin Tianyi and the others trembled slightly. Ripples of intertwined killing auras appeared and pressed down on the group mercilessly. Lin Tian's expression changed. Golden light intertwined on the surface of his body. He beckoned the group to dodge. They all moved dozens of feet away. You can dodge? You're slightly stronger than an ant. Seeing Lin Tianyi and the others dodge his killing aura, the tall man was slightly surprised. His voice was still indifferent. It was as if a god emperor was giving advice. Lin Tian looked at the man, and his eyes narrowed. The blaze of chaos. You know about it? The tall man's gaze fell on Lin Tian. His expression was still indifferent. You guess something? You heard about it from the other clansmen? Bai Ziki and the others were on guard against the tall man while looking at Lin Tian. Whooshing Crocodile frowned and said, "This blaze of chaos, could it be?" It was a young man, but the aura he exuded was very terrifying. He was at the peak of the heavenly god realm. And when Lin Tian called out this person's name, the group vaguely guessed this person's identity. He should be one of the 10 deities of the Primal Chaos clan. One of the 10 Shensis of the Primal Chaos race. Lin Tiandao. From the Primal Chaos tribe expert Sea of Consciousness, he found out that the 10 strongest youths of the Primal Chaos tribe had arrived. Naturally, he also found out their names. All 10 of them were given the surname Primal Chaos by the King of Chaos. They were Primal Chaos Na, Primal Chaos G, Primal Chaos E, Primal Chaos U, Primal Chaos Wei, Primal Chaos End, Primal Chaos Truth, Primal Chaos Z, Primal Chaos 10, and Primal Chaos G, of course. While knowing the names of these 10 people, he also searched for their appearances. Therefore, he recognized Han Dun Chi as soon as he appeared. As expected, Whooshing Crocodile looked at Han Dun Chi with a solemn expression. This person was indeed one of the 10 chaotic divine children. At the same time, Bai Ziki and the others looked at this person in front of them with a solemn expression. They felt a great pressure. Lin Tian looked at this person and could not help but frown. He did not expect to meet one of the 10 people so soon. While he was looking at this person, the other person was also looking at them. Although our goal is the world's seed, we will kill all humans we see along the way. His voice was still indifferent. He waved his hand casually, and a large amount of killing light directly pressed down on Lin Tianyi and the others. The killing light was intertwined with a shocking chaotic aura. It was completely different from the chaotic aura of other ordinary chaotic tribe cultivators. It was very similar to the aura of M.O. Byron's chaotic body. Although it was far less dense than M.O. Byron's primitive chaotic aura, it was still very terrifying. It was so heavy that it was frightening. It was as if it could annihilate everything. Lin Tian felt a great pressure, but he was not afraid. He immediately held up the Divine Tao Monarch's domain reincarnation diagram and faced it head-on. This was a peak heavenly god realm cultivator who had the ability to kill ordinary divine kings. He could not afford to be careless. He attacked with all his strength from the beginning. Boom! The Divine Tao reincarnation diagram rumbled as it interweaved with the aura of the Divine Tao, completely enveloping the surrounding space as it charged towards the blaze of chaos. At the same time, Bai Ziki and the others made their moves. Bai Ziki propped up the Divine Roar Temple. Fanning Xiong propped up the Immortal Cracking Mountain. Little Taichu propped up the protection of the Four Spirits, and Nympho, Yangqi, and the others also used all their strength to attack the primordial blaze. That was because they all knew that the person before them possessed the battle prowess to kill ordinary god kings, so they couldn't hide their strength. The group of people took action at the same time. Heaven, overflowing divine, might surged, extremely horrifying. They could definitely easily kill ordinary, heavenly deities. Chi! With a soft sound, the divine light from the chaotic blaze was shattered. After all, it was just a casual attack from the other party. After that, the offensive divine power unleashed by Lin Tian and the others continued to press down on the chaotic blaze without slowing down. Thunder God Body, Barbarian King Body. A faint light intertwined in the chaotic blaze's eyes. He was slightly moved by Zeki's Thunder God Body and Fanning Xiong's Barbarian King Body. After all, king bodies were rare. At the same time, he was also slightly moved by the divine might of Yang Qi and the others because they were all very strong. Especially when he saw Lin Tian's divine Dao reincarnation diagram. He narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Lin Tian. "You're not bad. You're all not bad. You're worth killing." With that, with a boom, a vast chaotic light rushed out of his body. With a sizzling sound, it shattered Lin Tian's divine Dao reincarnation diagram and the divine abilities and secret techniques unleashed by Ling Yun and the others. It also forced the group of people to retreat. "We're in trouble," Whooshing Crocodile said. Just the aura alone was enough to shatter their divine abilities and force them all back. This kind of power was too terrifying. This is equivalent to facing someone who is slightly stronger than ordinary god kings. This is a disaster. White Tiger gritted his teeth. "Retreat," Lin Tian said in a low voice. It was only this one word, and the group of people fled. Being able to kill an ordinary early divine king, this primal chaos chi was indeed terrifying. He was definitely not someone they could contend against. The difference in cultivation was too great. If they fought him head-on, they would definitely be annihilated. Retreating was the wisest choice. Zeki and the others nodded. Immediately, the group of people turned into a beam of light and flew into the distance. The chaotic blaze's eyes were indifferent, and his expression was also indifferent. He took a casual step forward and caught up with the group of people in the blink of an eye. Buzz! A chaotic light seal appeared above his head. It was completely formed by the aura of chaos, causing the surrounding space to tremble and distort. It mercilessly pressed down on Lin Tianyi and the others, and at the same time sealed the space around them. Lin Tian's expression became extremely serious. At this time, there was no way to avoid it. The divine Dao reincarnation diagram was raised again to meet the opponent. Chapter 1828. In the face of Han Dunqi, who could kill an ordinary godly king, Lin Tian and the rest did not hold back at all. All of them used their full strength. With a rumble, the surging divine power collided with Han Dunqi's chaotic light seal. Then, there was a sizzling sound one after another. The divine powers and secret skills that the group had used all their strength were all shattered. Moreover, the chaotic light seal did not shatter just like that. Although its power was much weaker, it still continued to press down. Bang! 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 Everyone, including Lin Tian, was pushed back by the impact. Their faces turned pale. In terms of numbers, the human race is the first in the world. However, in terms of strength, you humans are the weakest. You can't even withstand a single blow. Han Dunqi looked at Lin Tiandao. His voice was very indifferent. There was no arrogance on his face, but it made people feel even more uncomfortable. That was because that indifference was a complete disdain for the human race. F***ck off. Why are you so arrogant? The human king is a human. He can destroy the entire chaotic tribe with a flick of his finger. The king of your tribe is nothing in front of him. Now you, a heavenly god, dare to look down on the human race. Ling Yun was very unhappy. Before Lin Tian could speak, he cursed. Han Dunqi glanced at Ling Yun. You know quite a lot. You even know about such an ancient existence. As he said that, his expression was still indifferent. The human king is very powerful. However, he has cultivated for countless years. As long as I have time, it's only a matter of time before I surpass him. Lin Tian was stunned when he heard that. Since he started cultivating until now, he has seen many arrogant people. All of them had arrogant attitudes, looking down at the world with disdain. But now, Han Qi didn't have such an attitude. However, he felt that Han Qi was the most arrogant person he has ever seen. The white tiger opened his mouth and said, "All right, you're good. I really don't know where you get the courage to say such words. You're so childish. How did you cultivate to the heavenly god realm?" And Ai Yaoni said, she had reincarnated from a very ancient era until now. Although she had never seen a mortal king with her own eyes, she was very clear on how frightening a mortal king was. Since ancient times, no matter how heaven-defying a king physique was, how exceptional a bloodline was, or how shocking a talent was, no one dared to say that they could surpass a mortal king. Saying such words would only make people laugh at their ignorance and stupidity. I can believe Miss Wu Yi's words, but who do you think you are? You dare to say that you have surpassed the human sovereign stage? There's something wrong with his head. Wuxing Crocodile curled its lips. The group of people looked at Han Dunqi. They were all injured, but their expressions were full of mockery. For the first time, Han Dunqi's expression turned cold. A group of humans and demons who were far weaker than him dared to refute him and look at him with mocking eyes. This made his eyes turn cold. An ant should act like an ant, he said coldly. With a Hong sound, an even more terrifying aura surged. Peak heavenly deity, might surged, suppressing all directions. He stepped forward, raised his hand directly, and formed the chaotic divine palm, slapping toward Lin Tian and the others. The power of this palm was even more frightening than the chaotic light seal just now. Facing this palm, Lin Tian and the others felt their hearts sink. "Use your full strength," Lin Tian said in a low voice. Han Dunqi was indeed very frightening. His battle strength was too strong. A casual strike was enough to make them feel extremely pressured, let alone now that he was using a divine ability to suppress them. With a Hong sound, he once again supported the divine path reincarnation diagram. At the same time, he displayed the 5 heavenly lightning divine technique and the other precious techniques one after another. He also took out a true god-level precious weapon. Beside him, Baiziki and the others did not hold back either. They all took out their strongest divine techniques and true god-level precious weapons. These true god-level weapons were obtained by Lin Tian in a heavenly god-level ancient tomb. Everyone in the group was given one. With a rumble, the group attacked with all their might. The aura was extremely terrifying, and the surrounding void was directly shattered and annihilated. However, Han Dunqi's chaotic divine palm was too powerful. In the blink of an eye, it shattered all the divine techniques of the group. The vigorous palm continued to press down and landed on the group. In an instant, the group was sent flying at the same time. All of them were severely injured, and blood flowed out of their bodies. As ants, you were able to withstand my attacks for so long. I should praise you. You are really not bad. Han Dunqi's eyes were cold. He attacked again, and another chaotic divine palm pressed down. With a rumble, the chaotic divine palm this time was dozens of times stronger than before. It directly suppressed the surroundings. Just the aura alone was enough to shake the group to the point that they coughed up blood. Their faces became extremely pale, and it was even difficult for them to move. Damn it, it's over. The Wuxing Crocodile was shocked and furious. At this moment, it was suppressed by Han Dunqi's aura. It could not even struggle. It could only watch as Han Dunqi's chaotic divine palm pressed down. At this moment, if they were to take this attack head-on, they would not have any chance of survival. Baiziki and the others did not look good. They struggled with all their might, but they could not break free from Han Dunqi's suppression. Lin Tian was also suppressed. However, compared to Baiziki and the others, he was still much stronger. After a short period of suppression, he broke free with his powerful divine power. He directly rushed to the sky and faced the chaotic divine palm with the chaotic emperor fist. Boy, dodge. Don't take it head on. You will die. Whooshing Crocodile said anxiously. Get out of the way. Ling Yun also shouted. Lin Tian's body was full of golden divine light. The chaotic Emperor Fist became stronger. The Divine Path reincarnation diagram also surged out, erupting with an even stronger aura. At this moment, if he wanted to dodge, he could naturally do so. However, how could he? If he dodged, the chaotic divine palm pressed down by Han Dun Chi would directly fall on Ling Yun and the others. In their current state, they would not be able to block it. He circulated the Sun Heart Sutra faster, and his aura became stronger. In the next moment, it collided with the chaotic divine palm. The Divine Path reincarnation diagram and the chaotic Emperor Fist that he had summoned were shattered on the spot. Then the chaotic divine palm fell on Lin Tian's body. With a poof, his physical body was smashed into pieces. Blood, flesh, and broken bones flew all over the sky. However, the chaotic divine palm also dissipated. Boy! The power of the chaotic divine palm dissipated. Ling Yun and the others could move again. Seeing Lin Tian's physical body being smashed into pieces, they were all anxious. However, in the next moment, they were more or less relieved. In the void, broken flesh and broken bones gathered together. Lin Tian's physical body was reformed in the blink of an eye. You are tough. I will kill you first. Chapter 18:29. The chaotic divine sword's aura was earth-shattering. Its divine might was oppressive as it slammed down. Little Taichu flapped its bright and clean wings and rushed forward. Bai Ziki and the others also rushed forward, wanting to help Lin Tian block the sword. However, their speed was far slower than the sword, and they could not make it in time. Clang! The sword chimed. In the blink of an eye, the chaotic divine sword pressed down on Lin Tian's head. Lin Tian's aura was already very weak at this time. His face was very pale. However, there was still divine power in his body. He immediately held up the Divine Path reincarnation diagram and faced the attack. Boom! The Divine Path reincarnation diagram's aura was terrifying. It intertwined with divine light in all directions and faced the chaotic divine sword that was slashing down by chaotic blaze. With a loud boom, the two collided. The Divine Path reincarnation diagram that Lin Tian held up was instantly crushed. Then, the chaotic divine sword slashed out by chaotic blaze landed directly on his body, causing his body to explode again. Blood floated in the air. There were pieces of flesh and bones everywhere. They wriggled quickly. Soon, Lin Tian reformed his body. Blood gushed out of his mouth as he gasped for breath. He had forcefully endured several fierce attacks from chaotic blaze. His current situation was extremely bad. He was completely on the verge of death. Chaotic Blaze's eyes narrowed. A person in the middle stage of the true god realm had withstood several of his attacks consecutively. This was the first time he had met such a person. Interesting. You're more resilient than I thought. Then, let's see if you can survive another attack. Looking at Lin Tian, he had a condescending attitude. Chaotic light surged behind him, and another chaotic divine sword appeared. It was even stronger than the previous one. Clang! He flicked his finger, and the sword directly pressed down on Lin Tian. The sharp sword aura immediately shattered the void in all directions. It pressed down on Lin Tian's head with a divine power that could destroy everything. Facing the sword, Lin Tian gritted his teeth. Although he knew that he could not block it, he still held up the reincarnation diagram. Only, the reincarnation diagram he propped up was shattered in the blink of an eye, unable to stop it at all. The momentum of the chaotic divine sword did not change at all. It even completely sealed the space around him, not giving him any chance to dodge. The mighty power of destruction pressed down on his head. It was also at this time that the little Taichu approached at the fastest speed. Seeing Lin Tian's weak appearance at this time, its big eyes were filled with anxiety and anger. All the hair on its body stood on end, and the six-colored divine radiance suddenly surged. In the next moment, a world of light emerged from its body. Inside it, immortal mountains and divine mountains were connected to each other, and divine rivers were connected to each other. Every inch of space was filled with extremely dense, immortal radiance, and its aura was extremely vast. The chaos divine sword slashed down and fell into the light world, disappearing without a trace in an instant. Lin Tian was visibly moved. At the same time, Wuxing Crocodile, Ling Yun, and the others were also shocked. It's that. Wuxing Crocodile's eyes widened. This light world was obviously the broken primordial immortal world that the primordial immortal emperor had put into the little guy's body back then. It did not expect the little guy to call out this great world from his body at this time. Even the little Taichu was a little surprised. It looked up at the primordial immortal world that had appeared from its body. Just now, when it saw that Lin Tian was severely injured and in extreme danger, it was very angry and activated the divine power in its body. Then, the primordial immortal world appeared. It did not propel it up on its own. It did not have the ability to do so now, just like the rainbow divine sword in Lin Tian's body. Looking at the primordial immortal world propped up by the little Taichu, Hun Chi's eyes moved slightly. He snorted coldly and formed the chaos divine sword again. This time, the sword was 10 times stronger than the previous one, and it slashed down mercilessly. However, this time, just like before, when the sword fell into the primordial immortal world, it was immediately disintegrated. Lin Tian's eyes flashed. He said to the little Taichu, "Little guy, take him in." As little Primal held up the primordial immortal world, and as Primal Chaos Blaze's 2 consecutive attacks were easily neutralized, he immediately thought of many things. Although Primal Chaos Blaze was very powerful, and his battle prowess was unparalleled, he was still only at the heavenly god realm. However, the little fellow was holding up a true great world that was not any weaker than the immortal region. It was not something that was formed from divine power, and such a true great world contained boundless divine might. It was definitely not something a mere heavenly god realm cultivator could contend against. With the primordial immortal world propped up by the little guy as a killing weapon, they could definitely turn the tide of this battle. Hearing Lin Tian's words, the little Taichu immediately nodded. With a flap of its wings, it directly controlled the propped-up primordial immortal world and turned into a ray of 6-colored divine light. It flew toward Hun Chi, pressing down on him with the propped-up primordial immortal world. Very unusual, but no big deal. Hun Chi's voice was cold. "I'll end you with one blow." As soon as he finished speaking, a divine sword covered in ancient runes rushed out of his body with a boom. It was a heavenly god weapon. Holding this heavenly god weapon divine sword, he was surrounded by vast and mighty chaotic light and chaotic flames. He held the divine sword and slashed at the little Taichu. Ka! The surrounding void was instantly annihilated. This terrifying sword was enough to kill an ordinary early-stage divine king. It seemed like everything would be destroyed by this attack. In the blink of an eye, it was right in front of the little Taichu. Its power was terrifying. However, in the next moment, when this sword collided with the primordial immortal world, all the divine power on it was instantly annihilated. For the first time, Hun Chi was truly moved. His face turned cold as he held the heavenly god weapon divine sword and quickly retreated. However, at this moment, purple lightning flashed in the sky, and a purple sea of lightning appeared. Lin Tian held up the 5 Thunder Divine Territory, a domain-type divine power, and instantly appeared behind the retreating Hun Chi. "Get in," he said coldly. He raised his hand and threw out a Chaos Emperor punch with all the divine power he had left. With a boom, he jumped and moved with the 5 Thunder Divine Territories domain-type divine power, and then threw out this punch. The punch was naturally very fast. Hun Chi, who was retreating, had no time to dodge or even turn around. The punch landed directly on his back. Bam! With a muffled sound, Hun Chi was sent flying and fell directly into the primordial immortal world that little Taichu was holding up. After landing in the primordial immortal empire, Hun Chi raised his head to look at Lin Tian. His expression was extremely cold. He was a peak heavenly god who could kill ordinary early-stage god kings, but now he was struck by a mid-stage true god human. To him, this was a humiliation. Looking at Lin Tian, his voice was extremely cold, and his eyes were filled with bone-chilling, murderous intent. Lowly human, kill. As he spoke, his words suddenly stopped, and his expression changed drastically. What's going on? Chapter 1830. Falling into the primordial immortal empire, Han Dunqi's expression changed completely. He could not use the divine power in his body, and the heavenly god-tier divine sword in his hand dimmed to its lowest point. It was as if it had turned into an ordinary sword. Damn it! He was not an ordinary person. He glanced at the immortal god world and instantly guessed that this had something to do with the primordial immortal empire. He leaped up. Even though he could not use his divine power, he leaped high into the air with pure physical strength. In the blink of an eye, he was at the edge of the primordial immortal empire's light barrier that was held up by little Taichu. He stepped out with one foot. However, at this moment, Lin Tian stepped forward and appeared in front of him. You still want to escape? With a cold smile, Lin Tian slapped Han Dunqi's slap. The slap landed firmly on Han Dunqi's face, and he fell into the primordial immortal empire again, leaving 5 bloody fingerprints on his face. Human, Han Dunqi fell to the ground, his eyes filled with bone-chilling coldness. He was slapped by someone weaker than him. Lin Tian stood in the void and sneered. He then said to little Taichu, "Little guy, control the primordial immortal empire. Don't freeze my divine power later." He could clearly sense that Han Dunqi's divine power had completely disappeared. He naturally knew the reason. It was suppressed by the primordial immortal empire. "Yeah!" Little Taichu called out in a childish voice. Lin Tian stepped forward and entered the primordial immortal empire. Because of little Taichu's control, his divine power was still there. Although it was very weak, it was still there. He stepped in front of Han Dunqi and slapped him again. Slap! The slap was loud and clear. Han Dunqi was directly hit, and he was sent flying dozens of feet away in the primordial immortal empire. Han Dunqi was furious. You swoosh! The sound of the air breaking rang out. Lin Tian stepped forward, his speed extremely fast. He appeared in front of Han Dunqi in the blink of an eye and slapped him again. With a smack, Han Dunqi was slapped for the 3rd time. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and a tooth fell out of his mouth. Whooshing Crocodile, Ling Yun, and the others couldn't help but stare at this scene. In the next moment, Whooshing Crocodile laughed loudly. He naturally guessed that the powerful primordial chaos blaze's sudden fall into such a state had something to do with little Taichu's primordial immortal empire. "Little guy, don't suppress Lord Crocodile," Whooshing Crocodile said, and stepped into the primordial immortal empire. Like Lin Tian, he was unaffected. He immediately came to Han Dunqi, who had just stabilized himself after being sent flying by Lin Tian. He laughed wildly and said, "Little Qi, every dog has its day. Come. Let's not talk too much. Let's eat your grandpa Crocodile's claw first." It was merciless. Just like Lin Tian, it slapped Han Dunqi's cheek. Han Dunqi was very powerful and could kill an ordinary god king. However, his divine power was now suppressed by the primordial immortal empire. His reaction speed was greatly reduced. He couldn't avoid Whooshing Crocodile's attack at all. Smack! With a muffled sound, Han Dunqi was sent flying again. His teeth mixed with blood fell out again. Outside the primordial immortal empire, Ling Yun glared. Then, he clenched his fist and stepped into the primordial immortal empire propped up by little Taichu. He went directly to Han Dunqi, who hadn't stabilized himself. "Little Qi, eat your grandpa Ling's ultimate kick." His foot landed directly on Han Dunqi's crotch. With a bang, Han Dunqi's entire face was distorted. "Little pervert, you're ruthless." White Tiger laughed and stepped into the primordial immortal empire. He copied Ling Yun's action and kicked Han Dunqi's crotch. Then, by Ziki, Fanning Xiong, and the rest stepped into the primordial immortal empire one after another. They surrounded Hun Dunchi and beat him up violently. In the end, even little Taichu entered the primordial immortal empire itself. Its little claws hit Hun Dunchi's face with all its might. Hun Dunchi was infuriated to the extreme, being beaten by a group of people and spirit creatures who were weaker than him. His face was twisted to the extreme. He was no longer as indifferent and cold as he was at the beginning. His face turned ferocious. "Damn it, you..." Bang! Lin Tian lifted his leg and kicked him hard in the chest, interrupting his words. At the side, Ling Yun and the rest didn't stop. They continued to attack with all their might. "Weren't you very arrogant just now? Weren't you very powerful? Come, Grandpa Ling will let you fight with both hands. Then, eat your Grandpa Ling's ultimate kick. Didn't you say you were going to surpass the Human King? How did you end up like this? This is too outrageous. I'll beat you until you can't even recognize your own mother." A group of people surrounded Hun Dunchi. They didn't kill him. Instead, they beat him up with all their might. In the blink of an eye, Hun Dunchi's face was bruised and swollen. All his teeth were broken, and blood kept flowing out of his mouth. Boom! 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 Suddenly, thousands of waves of divine power appeared in the distant sky. They were all very powerful and were rapidly approaching this place. In the next moment, thousands of figures crossed this place in the blink of an eye. All of them were surrounded by chaotic energy. 9 young men led the group. Among the 9, 5 were peak heavenly gods, and 4 were half-step divine kings. Their auras were very frightening. Chi deity, how is this possible? When they arrived at this place, the thousands of people naturally saw Hun Dunchi being beaten up by Lin Tianyi and the rest in the primordial immortal empire. Other than the 9 young men in the lead, the rest of the chaotic tribe cultivators were shocked and in disbelief. At the same time, Lin Tianyi and the rest naturally saw the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators. They couldn't help but stop beating Hun Dunchi. Lin Tian's eyes narrowed slightly. The 10 chaotic deities are all here. He glanced at Hun Dunchi, and his gaze fell on the 9 young men in front of the thousands of people. He smiled coldly. Wuxing Crocodile and the rest naturally noticed the 9 people. After all, their auras were very different from the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators. White Tiger vaguely guessed the 9 people's identities. He asked Lin Tiandao, "Are they the other 9 deities of the chaotic tribe?" "Yes." Lin Tian nodded. Baiziki glanced at the 9 young men and said in a low voice, "They're all very strong, even stronger than Hun Dunchi." That's because Hun Dunchi is ranked last among the 10 deities of the tribe. Lin Tiandao. As he said this, he looked at the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators and couldn't help but frown. He remembered that there were only about 10,000 chaotic tribe cultivators who had entered this ancient road. Now, thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators had appeared in this place, and they were led by the 9 deities of the chaotic tribe. This indirectly reflected the situation, which was that most of the other Emperor's Academy disciples who had stepped onto this ancient road had probably been wiped out. Outside the primordial immortal empire, among the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators, the 9 young men in the lead were indeed the other 9 deities of the chaotic tribe. At this moment, their eyes narrowed slightly when they saw Hun Dunchi in the primordial immortal empire. Previously, Hun Dunchi was the first to step out of the chaotic world and onto this ancient road. For some reason, the 9 of them entered later. At this time, they had cleared all the human tribe cultivators and other obstacles in the first half of the ancient road and led thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators deeper into the ancient road. They didn't expect to see this scene in this place. Have you seen enough? Help! Chapter 1831. The 10 divine princes of the chaotic tribe were the strongest of the younger generation. Hun Chi was trapped in the primordial immortal empire, and the other 9 divine princes were watching. After Hun Chi spoke, one of them immediately attacked, throwing out a ray of chaotic light. Clang! The chaotic light vibrated, turning into an extremely sharp sword aura. In the blink of an eye, It was right in front of the primordial immortal empire. The sword was extremely terrifying, and it was intertwined with an extremely terrifying murderous aura. However, when it landed in the primordial immortal empire, it was completely useless. In the blink of an eye, it was devoured by the primordial immortal empire, turning into streaks of light and disappearing without a trace. This, a divine prince's attack. How is this possible? The group of chaotic tribe cultivators was shocked. The one who attacked was Hun Chi, a half-step divine king. He was the first divine prince of the chaotic tribe, and that sword could definitely kill an early-stage divine king. However, when it entered the primordial immortal empire, it disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Beside him, Hun Chi, Honey, Hun Chi, Hun Hun Wei, Hun Hun Chi, Hun Di, Hun Hun Zi, and Hun Hun, she could not help but frown. They stared at the primordial immortal empire held up by the little Taichu, and a strange light flashed in their eyes. This is the divine prince of the chaotic tribe? One of the 10 strongest of the younger generation? How weak. In the primordial immortal empire, the white tiger spoke. Naturally, he could tell that the attacker was one of the 10 divine princes of the chaotic tribe. Knowing that the little guy could hold up the primordial immortal empire, he did not care at all. What did you say? Outside the primordial immortal empire, the chaotic tribe cultivators stared coldly at the white tiger. I said that your divine prince is weak, very weak, very weak. So what? If you don't like it, come bite me. The white tiger extended one of its claws and hooked its claws at the group of chaotic tribe cultivators. The group of primal chaos tribe cultivators were naturally enraged, but they were not stupid. It was obvious that their chi Shensi was trapped because of the primordial immortal world that enveloped the white tiger, Lin Tian, and the others. Moreover, their first Shensi's powerful attack that could kill an early-stage divine king was also annihilated by the primordial immortal world. Why would they foolishly charge in? How cowardly. No one dares to come here. The white tiger was filled with disdain. Lin Tian glanced at it before turning to little Taichu and asking, "Little guy, can you manipulate the primordial immortal empire's attacks?" Little rascal blinked its large eyes and gave it a try. Then it shook its head. Right now, the primordial immortal empire was not supported by itself. Being able to use it to defend and suppress others was already its limit. It could not be used to attack. Human, let him go. At this moment, an indifferent voice rang out. At the front of the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators, Hun Dun spoke up and ordered Lin Tianyi and the others to release Hun Dun Chi from the primordial immortal world. Is that possible? Lin Tian looked at this person. These chaotic tribe cultivators had jumped from the chaotic world to this ancient road and massacred wantonly. Now, they were actually asking them to release Hun Dun Chi, who was suppressed by them. What a joke. Let him go and send him out. Otherwise, what awaits you will be eternal torture and a hell worse than death, Hun Dun Dun said. When he said this, there was no coldness in his eyes. He was very calm and full of disdain for Lin Tianyi and the others from the bottom of his heart. This attitude naturally made Lin Tian very uncomfortable. Therefore, he waved his hand, and Hun Dun Chi's divine weapon level divine sword appeared in his hand. In front of Hun Dun Dun Dun, he slashed down with the sword and cut off Hun Dun Chi's left arm. With a puff, blood splattered in all directions. Hun Dun Chi let out a muffled groan. Because his divine power was frozen and his cultivation was suppressed to zero, he couldn't regenerate his arm at this time. Blood flowed continuously from the cut of his arm and dyed the ground red in the blink of an eye. Damn human, how dare you do this? You're courting death. Outside the primordial immortal empire, a group of chaotic tribe cultivators were shocked and furious. They had slaughtered their way into the ancient road from the primal chaos world, and in the past year or so, they had killed many human cultivators with ease. But now, a human cultivator, a true divinity human cultivator, had cut off the arm of their clan's blazing Shensi. This infuriated them, and their faces were filled with killing intent. Hun Dun, Dun Dun Nai, and the other 8 Shensi of the chaotic tribe naturally darkened their faces. Han Dun-Nai looked at Lin Tian and said coldly, "Do you know the consequences of hurting my people?" "I don't know what the consequences will be. I only know what the situation is now. Now, there's nothing you can do except glare at me." Lin Tian on Dao. As he said this, he raised his sword and cut off Han Dun-Chi's other arm. More blood splattered. At this moment, the chaotic tribe cultivators were even more shocked and furious. Han Dun-Nai's eyes became a little threatening. "The light barrier you've propped up is extraordinary, but it can only defend and not attack. Moreover, how long can you hold it up? When you can't hold it up anymore, what awaits you will be endless torture." "So what?" Lin Tianling said. As he said this, he cut off Han Dun-Chi's left leg with another slash. At this time, the little guy couldn't hold up the entire primordial immortal world. The part that he could hold up could only occupy about 100 feet of space. Even so, this greatly depleted the little guy's divine power. Of course, he couldn't hold it up forever. He had already sensed this. And once the little guy couldn't hold up the primordial immortal world anymore, the outcome would be huge trouble for them. However, even so, they couldn't give in to the other party. This undoubtedly made Han Dun-Nai and the others' faces turn even colder. However, they couldn't do anything at this time because the primordial immortal world propped up by little Taichu was too powerful for them to break through. Human, in the primordial immortal world, only Han Dun-Chi's right leg was left. His face was ferocious and cold as he stared at Lin Tian. "How dare you look so ferocious when you're a prisoner? You don't have any awareness of being a prisoner. You're asking for a beating." Lin Tian raised his hand and cut off the last leg of Han Dun-Chi. He looked at Han Dun-Chi, and the divine sword that belonged to Han Dun-Chi intertwined with cold light. He paused and suddenly narrowed his eyes. Then he thought of something. Then he raised his hand and intertwined with golden divine light to envelop Han Dun-Chi as one of the top 10 strongest of the younger generation of the chaotic tribe. "You've even been bestowed with the blood of a chaotic king to refine your body. You should be quite rich, right?" He sneered. His divine power surged, along with the power of his divine consciousness, forcibly entering Han Dun-Chi's body and consciousness. Soon, he forcibly extracted a large pile of treasures, all of which were intertwined with divine light. This is... I poke. As expected of one of the top 10 strongest of the younger generation of the chaotic tribe. These treasures are really... I'm rich. Chapter 1832. Lin Tian forcibly pulled out too many treasures from Han Dun-Chi's body. They were piled up into a small mountain. None of them were ordinary, and each of them was shockingly valuable. Bone Emperor Silk, a super sacred material for forging godly king weapons. Ink Crystal, a divine item for cleansing the marrow of the bright spirit. It's also an extremely precious divine item for heavenly god tier elites. Fire Vine Bud, a divine medicine for strengthening one's body. Whooshing Crocodile and the others' eyes almost popped out of their sockets when they saw the pile of divine items and treasures. They were extremely excited. Among them were powerful weapons, shocking divine elixirs, and cultivation methods for divine skills and ancient scriptures. Any one of them was enough to drive many crazy. Even Lin Tian could not help but be moved at this time. Then, his gaze fell on a transparent bottle. There was a purple pill in it that was intertwined with Tao patterns. Fighting Spirit Pill. A light flashed in his eyes. The Fighting Soul Pill was a divine pill that could increase one's cultivation for a short period of time. It could allow those above the Middle True God realm and below the Heavenly God realm to increase their cultivation by a whole realm for a short period of time. It could last for about 2 hours. Most importantly, there were no side effects after that. The conditions to concoct it were very strict, and it was very difficult to concoct it. He waved his hand and grabbed the Fighting Spirit Pill. Whooshing Crocodile, White Tiger, Ling Yun, and the others looked at the bottle in his hand. Their expressions changed again. Naturally, they recognized the Fighting Spirit Pill in the bottle. They had seen records of this divine pill in some ancient books. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ling Yun stared. It's really good stuff. For the current situation, There's no better treasure than this. Lin Tiandao glanced at Hun Dun and the others outside the primordial immortal empire. Outside the primordial immortal empire, Hun Dun and the others were also looking at him. Seeing him cut off Hun Dunqi's limbs and plunder all of his treasures, everyone's expression was cold. The murderous intent in their eyes was not concealed at all. Human, Hun Dunqi's 4 limbs were chopped off. Blood was flowing out, and it was difficult to stop it. He stared coldly at Lin Tian, and his killing intent was the strongest. Lin Tian looked at Hun Dunqi with a cold expression. He waved his hand and put away all the treasures that he had taken from Hun Dunqi. The celestial weapon that belonged to Hun Dunqi mercilessly slashed at Hun Dunqi's head with golden divine light. You poo! Hun Dunqi spat out the word you in shock and anger. Then his head was smashed into pieces by Lin Tian. Because he was suppressed by the primordial immortal empire, his divine power was solidified. After his head was shattered, his consciousness and soul were destroyed as well. With a raise of his hand, Lin Tian destroyed the remaining remnants of his body. Qi Shensi. Damn it, human, how dare you? Outside the primordial immortal empire, the group of chaotic tribe cultivators were furious. One of their Shensi had been killed by Lin Tian right in front of their eyes. Hun Dunai and the other 8 Shensi's eyes turned even colder. They did not show any shock or anger. Only the coldness and killing intent in their eyes became more intense. You're good, Hun Dunai said. The space around him twisted involuntarily, as if it had turned into a source of destruction. Such a scene caused the eyes of Bai Ziki and the others to involuntarily narrow. This bastard is a little scary. He's much stronger than Han Dunqi, the White Tiger said. Very scary, Ling Yin said. At this time, even though they were in the primordial immortal empire, they could feel how terrifying the aura that Han Dunqi gave off was. It was as if it could easily destroy everything. Yeah, Lin Tian, I can't hold on any longer, little Taichu said in its childish voice. It looked at Lin Tian with an innocent expression. It had been holding up the primordial immortal empire for some time. At this time, as it finished speaking, the primordial immortal empire began to tremble as if it was about to dissipate. It's okay. Leave it to me, Lin Tiandao. As he finished speaking, he shattered the small jade bottle in his hand and swallowed the Duhan elixir. In an instant, the aura on his body began to rise. In the blink of an eye, he went from the peak of the middle true God stage to the peak of the middle heavenly God stage. Moreover, the divine power that was almost depleted was completely restored in an instant. He had reached the level of a heavenly god. Don't force yourself, little guy. Retreat with the others, he said to little Taichu. Little Taichu responded in its childish voice. Immediately, its essence, energy, and spirit relaxed. The primordial immortal empire that it had been holding up disappeared. In an instant, the group was exposed to the outside world again. Kill! An angry voice rang out, mixed with a chilling aura. When the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators saw that the primordial immortal empire protecting Lin Tianyi and the others had disappeared, 3 middle heavenly gods rushed over. In the blink of an eye, they were in front of Lin Tian and the others. Die! The 3 of them had cold and vicious eyes. At this time, they attacked together. Chaotic killing light shrouded Lin Tianyi and the others. Lin Tian glanced at the 3 of them. With a light flick of his finger, 3 rays of golden sword light flew out. With a sizzling sound, the chaotic killing light that the 3 heavenly gods had unleashed shattered. Then, Lin Tian's 3 rays of golden sword light did not slow down. They continued to close in on the 3 heavenly gods and pierce through their foreheads. Then, with a series of poof, 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 the 3 of them exploded. Even their divine souls were destroyed. This is really strong. Whooshing Crocodile could not help but stare. At the same time, Bai Ziki and the others were shocked. 3 middle heavenly gods were killed in the blink of an eye. However, they were only shocked for a moment. In the next moment, they put away their shocked expressions. After all, they were very familiar with Lin Tian. They knew very well how powerful Lin Tian was. Now that he had temporarily reached the limit of a middle heavenly god with the help of the fighting spirit pill, killing 3 ordinary middle heavenly gods was no different from cutting grass and tofu. "Stand back," Lin Tian said to them. Bai Ziki and the others nodded. Then they all retreated more than 1,000 feet away and looked at the place from afar. At the same time, the thousands of chaotic tribe cultivators were also looking at Lin Tian. Some of them were shocked, while others were furious. They were shocked at how terrifying Lin Tian's combat strength was after consuming the Duhan elixir. They were furious that Lin Tian had killed another 3 heavenly god tier powerhouses. More than 10,000 of them stepped onto the ancient road and killed many humans. They looked down on humans, but now one of their divine princes and 3 of their heavenly gods was killed by a human they looked down on. This made them very angry. Han Dun and the other 8 chaotic divine princes' expressions did not change. Only their eyes were as cold as before. Your aura is not weak. Your combat strength is not bad. However, it's nothing. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.